Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Summoner Scuffle. Today we have a very special episode. We have our own fuzzy-marmot, our co-host, competing, entering the field, playing a live game, and she's very excited because she hasn't had many opportunities of playing live games. She's mostly played async on the app, and her opponent will be LenaLieb. And LenaLieb, to just briefly mention, is spent this season in that's the wrong one. Spent the season in Division One. Season before that went 10-0 in Division Two. No idea how she managed that, but just two great players. Very excited to see them play. I think Lena is also fairly new to live games. We usually plays them async, so so both Fuzzy and Lena are just here to have some fun, see how it goes. And I'm joined by Vexer.
Yeah, hey, hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. And yeah, like live games are a completely different experience than what we're used to with the async games.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like how it's good for me always because it's just like, well, this play isn't perfect. It's not even good, but I have to do it. That's good for my mental health, not to overthink every single thing. That's
Yeah,
that's that's a
yeah,
big part of
exactly.
the scuffle. Yes. Have you been doing more live games these days, or
Uh,
how Summoner was
no,
for
not
you?
really. The thing with, I mean, they have that mode now showing up in the new app, like the mobile app saying 45 minutes, but it still doesn't seem to work. I've tried it
Yeah.
a couple times. We tested it once, like with Beanie's Lead. Like we joined both, like we're there like 20 minutes. It never kicked off. So it's still a mystery. Like Joe hasn't clarified like what's the future of that. Like, is he testing it? Why is it there but it's not working? Does he know it's not working? I mean, we've mentioned it on the Discord, but still no answer. So it's a mystery.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so I really just been in the public queue, playing quite a bit, trying the new factions, and just I'm probably about just to hit pause again and just wait for the new factions to come out. But yeah, I guess the next live games, the new season is coming. So once we start doing those league showcase streams, I'll be playing some there.
Yeah, that'll be fun. And yeah, I can't wait for the live games whenever they hit the app. I know it's on Plaid Hat's docket at some point, but they're a small team, so it takes a while for things like that to come out.
Yeah, although
Um,
like they were mentioning that in their latest stream, their live was gonna be officially out the in 2 days, I think, right? They were saying March 5th.
sorry,
So
did they say the app was or live
I
play?
think that the yeah, like the mobile app, like I saw someone mention, I think was Igor was like kind of like doing a recap of the podcast that they did, like PhD, and that's what he mentioned. So I wonder, like they should probably do an announcement, and the announcement should
Yes.
include like that new feature, right? Like once it's out, they should be like, yeah, this is out, and these are the features. So we'll see if the 45-minute queue is still there. And I mean, if it is, it should be working. If it's not working at that point, we can definitely just ping him directly, like, "Hey, this thing is is broken."
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I've heard from Nick that the plan for the app launch is a bit more in mid March. Like that might have been inaccurate, whatever was posted on Discord. But it's coming soon. Like within a couple weeks, we'll have an app on our phone. But we should get started and talk about the matchup that's going to be going down today.
Yeah.
Fuzzy Marmot is taking the Vargath versus LenaLieb's Eternal Council. So old versus the new, I suppose. I'm used to Eternal Council at this point. Mountain Vargath, they're a lot of fun. I still like lose a lot with them. I don't really know how to play them, so maybe you introduce those. But I'll get started with the Eternal. Talking about the Eternal Council and just how they tick, and then maybe if we have some time, we can also talk about the matchup between these two factions and what we can expect.
Mhm.
So Eternal Council on the screen right now. It was sort of released as like the ultimate combo factions, the ultimate combo faction, like even more so than Ret Talus, which already existed. Just every card in the deck, like centers around this like this crazy combo that you can do by just sort of playing all three of your events in the same turn. If you do that, you're gonna be drawing a bunch of cards. So okay, that's cool. Your summoner is gonna get extra strength for every card you draw, up to a maximum of 8 strength total on Edia. And you're also going to be doing 1 damage to any enemy non-summoner unit within 2 spaces of her. So your summoner is just absolute cannon, destroying whatever she wants. But only for a limited amount of time. You can only put there's only obviously 2 copies of each of these events in the deck, but Edia has an ability to persist these events. So you could keep this combo in play for multiple turns, but you have to accumulate boosts on Edia in order to do that. So you usually spend the early game trying to get some boosts by attacking with Edia, and then pushing her to safety with advisors. After they attack, they can push her to safety. You can also accumulate boosts with Learn, which is kind of the primary use that Learn has, but like also you sometimes steal an event that's super cool, and that's and that can really change things up. And so yeah, you probably some point in the mid game do a combo, maybe you do 2 combos, maybe it persists for a while. I mean it's sort of I see different people play them differently, but I see a lot of people like having eventually having Edia just have 8 strength for like 6 turns in a row, and it's very tough to deal with. So damaging her early is definitely a strategy. And then for the end game, you have Dominus Katu, which for some reason I don't get him out as much as I think I should. But it's very easy to put him at the bottom of your deck with both the Sage and the Scholar can bury cards, and so he'll be at the bottom of your deck, and then he's just a very very strong value unit once your deck is empty. So that's great. And you got some other units as well. Scholars draw more cards. Knights are great as just like blocking down a lane. Your opponent doesn't want to move next to them, or they'll have to discard. They just get more damage and bury the cards. Ovi can be just a good ranged option, especially if you're gonna hurdle or something. And Malionar is kind of funny and weird, but can like absolutely win you games if you are doing some sort of aggressive play style. There's a lot of tools for like different ways of playing. But yeah, that's how I'd roughly summarize these guys. Anything to add, Vexer?
Yeah, so you said like this is a highly interactive deck that really seeks to start amassing boosts on Eldia, because once she goes into that like powerhouse beast mode, it's really hard to deal with it, right? Like you're really just running away at that point because of how powerful it is. So most of the cards, like they allow you to do that with a relative safety, like with a Shove with the Knight to get a target for Eldia, and then with the advisor to hide her back. Like that's the key card that you'll see here is being able to shoot with Edia, and then being able to hide her or put her in a relatively safe spot. It also has like what you mentioned of Katu. I would say it's one of the decks with some of the best end game around there, because it's really easy to always have him at the end. Like the issue of the champions is that you draw him in your opening hand. It's a great champion, but it's your opening hand, right? Like you just can't
Yeah.
realistically like play it at that point. Many times you end up discarding it. Not with Eternal Council. Like the ability to put cards in the bottom of the deck allow you to always just send him to the bottom so that you have him in your last draw, like in your last cards. And you always want to make sure that you can play him, like whatever you have to discard at the end to get him on the board, because once he's on the board, if you're able, unless you're already like all the way to the back about to die, he's gonna mass some counters. Like he's like another summoner, like 10 health, so it's really hard to kill. And once he gets into the 5-6 like shooting range, it's really hard to lose at that point the end game. So it has one of the strongest end games. And yeah, it's really all about assembling those interactions with the cards, right? So you start slowly trying to accumulate the pieces of the combo, accumulate enough counters. And sometimes as the opponent, it's even hard to know like when you want to hit Edia, right? Like because that gives her a counter. So if you have like a 2 range, 3 range attack, and that's all you can do in a turn, sometimes you even doubt if you want to like give her another counter. So there's that balance. Like when you get a shot, many times you want to like attack as much as possible in the same turn so that it's all by about one counter, but just like 2 range, sometimes it's not even worth because you might end up dealing 1 damage and then you just gave her another counter. Once she's in the 5-6 counter range, it becomes really scary. Like when she comes out, she can just blow everything up at that point and sustain that for multiple turns.
Yeah, so it's sounds good. Is a lot. It's a lot she can do. We should go ahead and talk about the Mountain Vargath, just so we have
Yeah.
time here, real quick.
Yeah. Yes, so these guys are just like a steamroller coming at you. Like they're always moving forward, trying to move forward. If they're not moving forward, actually, sometimes even that is scary because you feel that there's a ramming advance coming and that it's going to be coming in hard. Like if they're a little bit away on the back and there's a lot of space between them and you, they're all about positioning. So that's like slow grind moving forward, taking over positions because they have the brutes, which allow you just to push units from wherever they were and then just take over that position at the beginning of the move phase. They also have the fighters that they can hit whatever and just force it, even the summoners. So they're all about like that, like taking over the center of the field and then just start advancing, like taking over the gate summoning spots and then just start planting forward gates, right? So it's really hard to stop them, right? Because even if you throw units to slow them down or just protect your front summoning spot with them, like because of those brutes, they can just keep slamming everything. Their only disadvantage is that they need to move as a pack. Like the strength that they have is that Sunderbed gives everything +1, and that's when they're really strong, right? Like when all the units are shooting with that +1. So it's important for them to move as a unit. So that makes them slow, right? Like it's pretty slow for them to be moving in a safe way, in a way that everyone is benefiting from the boost. And that's one of their main weaknesses, that mobility limitations. And the only way that they have to address that is, well, actually, most of their events help them in a certain way, but ramming advance allows them to suddenly like just move rapidly all the way forward or from one side to the other. Battle leader allows them to get that extra attack when they have move, sorry, the extra move when they have to do that, and then just the extra attack that is devastating. Martial force allows you to send the Thundervet, hit hard, protect that position, hit again. So all of the events are related to that positioning and mobility. So that's what they're going to be trying to do. So this matchup is going to be interesting because um, like the Vargath is going to want to be moving forward and just consuming that space and pushing them back. But when Edia suddenly goes crazy, like usually you want to get away, like not give them good targets because that's how they're able to keep sustaining that mode. But that's going to be hard to do with the Vargath, right? Like I think that's where the stronghold, like having a stronghold at the right moment is going to be key for them, maybe to get out of that. If they manage to take the center of the field, if they manage to start getting into the opponent's field, and suddenly that beast mode happens in the mid game or mid advanced like end game, the stronghold might allow them to just like, hey, let's get everyone out of here and then just try to wait for Eldia to run out of boost or get all the units out of the psychic assault range. So that's probably like how Mountain Vargath is going to try to want to use the stronghold. The key there is that if if they start with that at the beginning of the game, that's going to be hard to keep it for the whole game, right? Like you don't want those events clogging up your hand the whole
Yeah.
game. So we'll see how the draws play out to align with that. And also, like Evia, it's not only on the end game when she can like do that. Like many times mid game, she accumulates enough components to do it. Sometimes even early game, like they can do some pieces of the combo just for a couple
Mhm.
turns, then just let it die, and then just in the mid game or advanced game, do it again with a second copy in a way that tries to be more permanent, like meaning having more boosts to try to keep it going for more turns.
Yeah. I feel like something I struggle with the Vargath is like they really, because they have to move as a pack and that's their weakness. Like you usually want to be in the midfield, but then Stronghold is also just a very powerful tool to just like not give your opponents any targets for a turn, which, like you say, seems very strong against Eternal Council. if since they have no movements and Edia pops off with the combo and boop, you're out of there, and she's just gonna have to let it die over a couple turns. Like how do you balance that as Mountain Vargath? Like, is it fine to just like would you expect Sunderved to establish himself in the mid board and then just like totally run back halfway through the game and then try to go get back up there later? What sort of dynamic are we starting? Oh, and it looks like they just sent us the link, so I'm gonna pull that up while you answer.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get started. Like if they're already playing, let's open it up and then we can talk about this while
Yeah,
the game.
sounds good.
All right. Let's see
Okay.
who
Yep.
goes
Here it
first.
is.
It
Looks
looks like
like
Eternal Council goes first.
yep. And
Okay.
that's probably good for them, I would say.
Yeah, like yeah, any of them really benefits, I guess, from going first here. Do you want to let them know that they can go ahead and start, just
Yep.
in
I
case they're
think
waiting for
yeah,
us
of
to
course.
confirm?
Yeah, sounds good. Yep. All good. Should be starting a second. And I hear that they're on call as well. They're on separate call, having fun without us.
All right. So, yeah. So, with the stronghold, it's a fine balance between because it's hard to move all your units forward, right? And taking that kind of like be pressuring the opponent, taking those positions. So you don't want to be using it too hastily, unnecessarily, just to say like, oh, okay, they won't have targets. But the thing is, if it's really just like your standard any turn like attack that is coming, um, sometimes it's not that great because now you're all the way to the back and you're not a threat to them anymore, and then they can just start playing as they would normally, just a range game, which it doesn't benefit Vargath. I really reserve Stronghold just for like as an emergency measure, like or when you're really gonna go like all in type of moving, which it's a reckless turn trying to maximize damage, like meaning reckless that you're just going forward
Yeah.
without worrying about like how many flanks you're leaving open on Sunderbed, like leaving units exposed or things that like it's not a great position after your move, but you're doing it because you're gonna smash everything, and then you're gonna get out of there, right? Like that's how you want to use it. Many times, like that happens with a ramming advance, in which you go all the way in, and you're not going to be in the best position, but you're going to be hitting really hard, and then you can just retreat again. And sometimes even with doing the ramming advance, planting a gate, attacking and then doing the stronghold on that advanced gate, but now you're in a better position because you're choosing the flank where Sunderbed is, and it's in a protected side where they don't have gates or something like that, right? So I'm very picky about when I use stronghold. So, but I see many people when I play against Vargath that they just use it to like they just move forward, attack me like any other turn, and then they just go back. And then I just feel like, okay, well that's awesome, thank you. Like now you're giving me some breathing space.
Uh-huh. And so do you think for specifically the turns where Eternal Council, like the Eternal Council just played all the cards in their combo, Edia has like 6 boosts on her, like now sounds like a great time to just like retreat and let the combo die. How do you balance crap, I'm going too far back, and like I'm not gonna be able to get momentum anymore, and I want to get the heck away from Edia while her combo's active.
Yeah, and by the way, not sure if they.
Yeah, I think they just
Um,
need a moment so we can we can fill the space until they're
okay,
ready.
got it. Yeah, very good. Like I was just want to make sure that they're not waiting for us to confirm or something. Yeah, so in this one I would say that that's the moment, like when the combo goes off, like that's the right time, right? Like you don't care if you have to go all the way back or anything like that. All you really care about there is for the combo to die off, right? So that they're not able to sustain it and they lose that, because it gets to a point, even if it's the first insight that they've done, and that once that one dies out, like sometimes they don't have enough cards left. Like once all the counters that they had, sometimes even if the second insight is potentially there, they don't really have that many cards to try to like get a second use out of it or from a psychic assault. Because once they do it the first time, they're going to be drawing so many cards if they do it in the middle of the game that they can end up just running out of cards to get all the way back to 8 easily. So at that point, really is just getting out of there so that the combo dies out, because Eternal Council with Eldia at 8 and without at 8, it's like night and day, right? Like it's you can't really fight them when Eldia is shooting for 8 on a like for like exchange unless you're really just going for the kill. And that's where the strategy against Eternal Council plays in, like how aggro you're going to try to be against Eldia, if you have the means to really hit her as hard as you can. Like sometimes some factions will just try to, like whenever you get a chance, just shoot her. Like the counters doesn't matter because they against your deck, like they have ways of shooting from relatively safe spots and just shooting every single turn, and they're going to start amassing. So you just want to hit her as hard, because once you get her into like the 7 life range, then it's even risky for them. Like if they trigger the combo and they're like a big threat, they cannot really just rush at you and try to like use a lot of psychic assault, because then the counter attack could just be lethal, right? Sometimes you just have to go all in and just try to do that. But when the other approach you can take, depending on the faction you're using, is just avoid the idea, really. Just try to like, if she's staying all the way in the back and she's not really getting that many targets, so you try to not give her good targets, right? So don't put units in a space where she would just be able to shoot her at them. So you try to play the other side. And then once you try to start like doing the economic game, like at that point, pressuring her to have to come out from the safety of all the way on the back to then try to do a big turn in which you attack her with 2, 3 units, or use some of your like tricks, events, whatever, to hit her hard in one turn. If you manage to do that, then maybe they never really get that momentum of having enough counters to be a threat. So those are the two approaches you can take. I think Vanguard and this one, they have ways to try to follow that second approach in which you're going to try to deal a lot of damage in the same turn, because they have the fighters, they have like ramming advance, they have like the brutes if they get close enough with some forward gate to try to hit her from multiple flanks, or just really hit with the fighter forces to
Uh-huh.
one side, then you hit with another one, then the slinger behind one of those attacks again. So for Vargath, it is easy to be able to land like 2 or 3 attacks on her in a single turn. So that's how I would like approach this game. I was actually playing this matchup recently, and I was Eternal Council. For most of the game, I was at 13 life, right? So I had managed to just play a good range game, and suddenly in one of the turns, like they don't remember exactly like if it was for ramming advance or not. I think it wasn't, but like they play a fighter, they move it with martial forces right next to Eldia, because I was out of range of the units, right? I had hidden with the advisor after my attack. So Sundervet moves forward, moves the advisor next to me, the fighter next to me, attacks, then shifts me to Sundervet, attacks, then attacks with a slinger. 11 dice, got 11 out of 11, and then I went from 13 to 2, right? So that's the type of thing that Vargat, like I thought I was doing great, and suddenly I was at 2 life, right? So
Yes.
then I did the combo afterwards, but then I was at 2 life, so I had to. It was even hard at that point, right? Luckily, I was able to steal the Mountain Vargath events, so that was what allowed me to like still attack with 8, and then use martial forces to
Mm-hmm.
protect myself, and then use like the battle leader to do like the kill attack. But yeah, like they're able to suddenly deal 11 damage in a turn with just 3 attacks, right?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like something I'll struggle with Edia a lot is like I'm like, oh, I'll just like sort of play this econ thing where I sit in the back. Oh, and they're they're getting started too, so I'll I'll shut up whenever we see the move. But I'll sit in the back with Edia accumulating boosts, and then sometimes at some point I'll realize, wait, I actually need to like do something with these boosts. Like, and I haven't claimed the midfield at all. I've just been like hanging back. Like, I'm not going to be able to use my combo effectively. Well,
Yeah,
sometimes
that,
just
that
chilling.
happens a lot. Yeah, that happens a lot with them. You get to that point in which you need to risk Edia because like you need to start in the range. Many times it's for psychic assault, right? Like you want to be in that position in which you're in range of stuff that you're going to be shooting down. So, but the thing is, they have a good range game, right? So it's not an uncomfortable position to be in which you just try to play that as long as possible until they get too close, and then just blow up the combo. It's really only against factions that are defensive that you need to just like start sending the units in a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And in here,
Yeah.
like, well, one of the interesting things, like with them, because of all the draw, like once we see that the advisor committed that, she was probably not going to be, well, she was not going to be able to retreat. We see
Yes. Yes.
going after the brutes. The knight was left in a risky position as like another brute would be able to just like
It's true.
move her
Yes.
forward, like hit her. Then the other brute would be able to hit her. So let's see if she has that. And it looks like she want to bring the pressure in, like she's going at them, right? Many times in against these guys because of how hard it is to win those gate positions. Like you don't even try it, right? Like you know if you try to go at those, like those brutes are just gonna be like getting you out of there.
Yeah.
So because of that, many times you just really play on your half and just hope to be able to keep them far away from there and try to just defend your side. So we'll see how that plays out. Like the key here is going to be if she has a brute or even a fighter actually gets her and removes the threat of the knight there because he's right there on the summoning spots. There's no risk of the discard, right? The knights in this matchup, where you really want to try to maximize on these guys because the Vargath doesn't really have many range units, right? And the range unit that they have relies on being behind another of their units. Like they're not just gonna leave them exposed. Like you want to take care of those guys. So the knight really can just get a lot of value, right? Like what is the brute gonna do like once they're moving forward? Like just stop because there's a knight there? Like they'll
Yeah.
have to eventually just be walking into them and giving you that free card that they have to discard because of it. So that's also one of the keys of this matchup. I would say, like when I was playing as Eternal Council was maximizing the discard. Like I think I played at least 4 out of the 5 knights, or maybe I played all of them. And on most matchups, you end up discarding the knight. At least a couple, right? Like you play a few, but many, like when they have a good range game, the knights are not useful at all. But in this one, which is the opposite, yeah, this guy's really shine in this one. And cards like the Sage are not as good because the Sage needs to be, well, to be like full of advantage, like you want to be close to get the extra damage, but if you're close, these guys are just gonna like wipe him out in a single turn, either with a brute or with a fighter, plus like they just force him and then finish him off in a single turn. So it's hard to get value if they die immediately in one turn.
Yeah. I feel
So
like
it looks like
something.
Leo's
Oh, yep.
done.
They're still making discard decisions here.
Yeah, yeah, she's thinking about what to discard.
and yeah, and that can be tough, and it really like changes the flow of a game too. The first turn, whether you do something aggressive or not, especially like with Mountain Vargath, I still struggle with how to approach them because yeah, like you said, you run forward, you're gonna get brutes in your face just demolishing your units. But on the flip side, I don't want to just stay back and hand them the mid board because if Sundervid can just get established there, he'll be able to just get a ton of value at no risk whatsoever. So like that knife's edge between making it difficult for Sunderved to claim the mid board but not overexposing yourself. I don't I don't
Mhm.
know how to do that. Oh, and moving the brute back. So now we're gonna be able to get we can get a ram on both of these units. That's the worst of worst of all worlds.
I guess the thing there is that you don't want to be having to move into the night, so I
That's
guess she's going
true.
to be using the slinger, but then you need a 3 out of 3. So that's not
Yes, I wonder
sure.
if
Yeah, like maybe I'm not sure if she forgot that you can do like a ram, send a ram to the other unit, and then the other unit can do that. Yeah, she's probably
oh.
considering that option.
Yes,
Yeah, so you
and
can chain the rams. That's the thing that sometimes because well, all of them
mhm.
happen at the same time, but you have to pick one at a time. So then, yeah, like you can ram it to the other guy, then the other guy rams it to you, and then at that point, like you just need a 2 out of 3 with your slinger, which is like easier to accomplish.
Uh-huh. Yes, yes. I remember at the start of this game, Fuzzy also said that she likes to go through every possible move and take things back and click the undo button, and she'll try to annoy you as much as possible by getting you to commentate something and then
Well,
take it back.
yeah, and that's why we should just wait until they go to the attack phase to assume that
It's
they made their choice. Yeah, but yeah, this is what we were talking about. Like now, it's just a 2 out of 3 here.
uh-huh.
The let's see, the color looks like it's probably the only other like one magic unit that she has. As he
Yeah, it
didn't
must be.
really like call anyone, right? Like yeah, like
Yeah.
the color didn't really use the effect, it seems, or was it used for the slinger? Maybe one,
I
two,
don't think
three.
don't think so.
Yeah,
And we get the 3 for 2. Yep, much more consistent than the 3 for 3.
yeah,
Get a little bit of
exactly. Yeah,
damage.
3 for 3. It's unlikely. The 2 for 3, it's on like 75% or something like that. So you can never really hope for a 3 for 3, like needing it, like oh yeah, I'm building my play around the 3 for 3 because it's rarely going to be. It's an uh, nice occurrence that it's going to happen every now and then, but you have to plan around 2 damage on those.
Yeah.
So something interesting here that I always kind of like struggle when to do that and when to not do that. Like you see that Sundervid, like she left that space there with for the summoning spot, but because of that, she didn't give the boost to the caller, right? But the thing is, when you
Mm,
block your own summoning spot, many times you end up then just getting clogged up. Like if you don't have the gates,
yeah.
it's very easy for the opponent to just suddenly clog up your positions, and then you're regretting covering your own summoning spot. That happens to me like every now and then. So that's one of the challenges that Vargas has, like to get things in motion, to get like in the first turns in which you slowly start moving forward, you're going to be blocking your own spots on that side and on the front. So if the opponent suddenly like blocks your other side, then sometimes you just have like the back spot, or not even that, because many times you use the back spot for the first color that you get when you need to move the brute to get something, and then you summon whatever other attack unit on the front. So yeah, it's easy to find yourself without like summoning spots at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Something
So
interesting
right
that
now, this is
yeah.
where. Mhm.
Go ahead. No, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I,
So
I
this is where like council wants to kind of like leverage the range, right? Like I wouldn't really try to like dash forward anymore at this point. Those brutes, like you want to take
mhm.
like the chance that those guys said they're hard to move around. So like that sage has a perfect target there. If I had another knight, like that would be a good opportunity to either like move that brute back, right? Like that would really hurt the Vargas right now if you just go and shove it back, and then they would really well need to have another color. Like that would be problematic, but otherwise, like they would be forced to be losing a card just to move to you, or other than that, oh, she only has one magic actually, so
Yes.
we'll see. She might just go with yeah, she has a good play there with Edia for the boost, Advisor to then protect Edia, and then the Sage.
Hmm.
That's actually a better approach, right? Like, because that brood in the front, like, only if you had a knight, you had a play there, but she's had one magic, so that's not an option right now.
Yeah. It's nice that this brute is gonna need at least a collar to like reach the sage or something. He's pretty scary if he does get to this position, but I suppose not even really, because then we could just summon a knight and
Exactly.
counter it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right now with that gate there, like it's not such a big deal. Like you can deal with it. Like you can just get the sage there. Sorry, get the scholar, and then just like clear it out. Ooh, some bad rolls there.
Yes. One damage out of 5 range dice. That's rough.
Yeah. At least those colors are not really a premium target. Like it's not one of those in which you feel like, hey, I really need to kill this guy, like a slinger or like that 2 health brute. Those colors are really just meat shields in this one. Like they're really just a nuisance that they're gonna just um, they try to just use for their advance so that you have something to hit while they protect the important units. So she got the important one like that brute.
Yes, which is good. In chat, range dice are the worst. Yep, you always gotta have in the back of your head, what if all my dice miss this turn? Will I live?
Yes.
It's tough.
Yeah, with the range dice, sometimes like when I have a choice between range dice and melee, and the odds are supposed to be similar, like those odds I don't care about. Like I just go with the melee because like you see this type of thing like 0 out of 3. It's not that uncommon to see that, right? But in like melee dice, it's much more uncommon to see like 0 out of 2 or 0 out of 3 or even 1 out of 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so she discarded 1 to at least like, so she's taking it slow right now. Like she's trying to focus on an economic approach.
Uh-huh.
There was no color. Looks like, yeah, the brute is just going to be acting as a shield there, which is good for the sage. Like you want to be able to at least get another shot of him and the ability.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing I'm curious to ask you about really quickly is this gate, the 5 health gate on the Eternal Council. Like I would consider this spot or a spot to the left there. And if they take their turn, we can
Yeah,
ignore this quickly and see and see what they're
yeah.
doing.
We'll see.
Nope,
So it looks like
nope, going
no.
back.
Yeah, but she probably I mean, that's a good approach. She's also playing it like carefully, protecting Sonderved. She'll get the 3 attacks, at least wipe one of the units. My guess is she doesn't have like another color or something like that. Otherwise, she would get the brute in front of the sage to try to like take him off. So yeah, I would have also gone for the A3 on this one. Okay, she's going for it. Let's see, she got 2. Okay, like the, and then I don't think that advisor is gonna make it out of this. Yeah.
Good.
And I would pick A3 just to make it harder for them to clock my gates, right? Like, like the Vargath is just going to be rushing forward, like marching forward. And with B3, it's much easier for them, right? Just to suddenly be clogging those 2 spots. And then the front of the 10 gate, it's also the one that most of the times, that's the first one they're going to be capturing. This time we saw that at least that knight that was sent forth uh, caused Vargath to have to shift a little bit, right? Like right now,
Yeah.
she's not threatening that front gate spot unless she gets like a
Mm-hmm.
ramming advance. Like that spot is safe. So that was the benefit of that one. Now, Eternal Council is able to suddenly, after that sage, like maybe she just sends the sage just to try to attack, and well, no, not send portal. I actually won back with the sage, and then just focus the action on the left side right? So at that point, you're making Sondervet irrelevant with all the click, his crew on the other side. There's not much action there. Like there's only going to be a sage. Like they're going to be as advancing slowly because there's a brute, and you can just focus on taking over the other side, or really not giving them good targets there. So let's see what approach
Yeah,
she
yeah,
takes.
yeah, and
If
I feel like this. No, go ahead.
I was thinking like if she has a knight, like what she can do, because that fighter, like you could get another. Oh, look at that! She's bringing him on the knight on the other side. I was thinking about a knight with a fighter to also get like a shot out of Evia to finish him off, and then you're really not at a big risk of even being hit back. But
Hmm.
yeah, she just
Yeah, I
placing it
like
on
this.
the.
Yeah, I like this attack Eddie on the collar as well because there's like you're very likely not going to kill it, and then it's just a one attack unit. It's not threatening Eddie at all.
Exactly. Yeah, like that's how I would like to have like Evia on a different side from Sundervid, so that even if they attack you, like they won't be getting the +1. So those attacks are really not that big of a threat at that point. Like a Slinger attacking for 2, it's really not a concern. Callers, I mean, even a fighter, if you're on the back, they won't be able to make the like the combo it off of something and attack you twice.
And unfortunate, unfortunate miss here. Ooh, we decided not even to bother using
Yeah,
exploit
that
on
was
the brute.
interesting. Like, why did she not? Yeah, she didn't do exploit. I wonder why. Like, that's kind of a like a free damage most of the time.
Yeah, I wonder if something to do with hand management at this point. We're a little bit tight on magic, and it seemed like originally the plan was to kill the brute with the exploit, of
Yeah,
course. But now pivoting to something else.
yeah. I guess maybe she already has like the pieces of the combo and is looking forward to something like
Mm-hmm.
that. But she thought that that extra damage was not relevant or something like that because yeah, in that case, I would just take it due to the fact that sometimes, like, hey, you think like, well, he's like it's one attack away from dying either way, but sometimes like that attack whiffs, and then he's
Yeah.
still alive. So,
Wow. And,
you
and
know,
and held three cards in hand, discarded one. So yeah,
yeah. So
I feel
that
like
tells me
something like
that
that's going on. Sorry.
yeah, that tells me that he has the 3 pieces of the combo, and then she didn't want to use the other card for that because like you don't want to end the turn in that 0 magic. So I guess the logic there was like, hey, I need to discard this card, so I want to keep the other 3. So that means we're probably close to seeing the insight and the other 2. I think it's learn, no, or learn is the last one.
Yeah, and or inside assault and seek.
Oh, then
Um,
seek is the yeah. I always forget the name of the card. I
yes,
never forget
I
the
do too.
effect of the cards, but I always forget the name of it.
It's hard sometimes, especially the newer cards. I cannot keep track of.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I see it just because I see the name as kind of irrelevant. I just really focus on the effect. So then,
that's very Vexer of you. No, this is yeah, it's interesting just to like, and what I'll struggle with is like setting up when is time to do that combo, and like and this gate being here maybe gives us this 5 health gate, like maybe that'll give us a bit more momentum. So like hey, maybe we just charge up with Edia and like then play a bunch of other units and do some combo if Sundervid commits to the
it,
mid board.
yeah, it's tough because once you have those 3 cards, how long can you keep them, right? Even if it's not the perfect time, it's hard to
Exactly.
keep 3 cards because, like, you can then just be in that situation in which you don't have anything to play because you just drew like a gate and another event or something like that. So many times when I have the pieces, some of the pieces I just play learn just to get like cards like getting moved. Like when I get them very early in the game,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just to draw some cards and actually it's not learn, sorry, it's
You,
the seek.
interesting.
Seek. Yeah, so
You'll
you
play
just
Seek
play,
just to draw cards
yes,
in the early
just to
game.
draw cards and you just get the hand flowing, right? Because like already having insight and assault, that's already too much. And it's interesting
Yeah.
here that Fussy, she had another slinger. So seems like
Mm.
she's not really that concerned about finishing off the night. I thought she was going to be doing this like double slinger on that side, like one behind the other, Sunderbed, right where
Mm.
you're
Interesting.
is.
Yeah.
And that way you have like really good odds of killing both units.
Whoa, Slinger up here. No.
I think she's just trolling. I think she's just trolling us with the move. Like after it happens, it's like, what is happening?
I would
Yeah,
not be surprised.
yeah.
Mm. So that's now I'm fascinated that you say that you'll play a Seek just to cycle your hand in the early game, because I've done that sometimes as well, but I'm always terrified when I do it that my other Seek is gonna be my last card, and I'm just never gonna get to combo that game because of that. It scares me so much.
Well, the reason why I'm not that concerned of doing that is because it's not like you really require the sick for the combo. Like it's just when you have it,
Mm.
it becomes blowout. But if you don't have it, like there are so many other things that give you enough cards, meaning really the scholars and the advisors. At least the scholar, like if you have that guy and an advisor, like you have enough elements to at least get a decent attack that turn, and then the turn after you're gonna get to the 8 attack. So that's why I don't think like the seek is a requirement at that point. It's really just a nice to have if it's already there. But if it's not, like I never really allow it to clog my hand unless I know like, hey, I'm 1 or 2 turns away for sure of doing this. But at the beginning of the game, when you're all the way back, it feels like you're really far off because it's unusual to want to just rush with that idea. Like if you can play it safe and slowly accumulate, ooh. Oh man, that was
Unfortunate.
painful.
That's a skill
Yeah,
issue
she
right
thought I
there.
was like, that was like a safe shot. I mean, interesting that she picked that approach of like shoving the ramming the sage. Because if you don't ram it, like you get the third attack with the
Oh,
brute.
that's true.
So I think at that point she was just pressured to probably to make a move and said like, yeah, like 1 out of 3, it's
It's
a sure
fine.
thing
3 hits
until this.
anytime.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, so she hit a martial force.
oh no, we wanted the brute to hit the knight.
Yeah,
I
the
see.
brute was the third attack, so yeah, that was the intent there.
And I see that. Yeah, I mean, it seems like whoa, not. Oh, I see. No. You only wait. I'm very
Oh wait,
confused.
wait, what happened?
Could the brute not have attacked? She ended her turn.
Yeah, like
I wonder if
brute.
that must have been a mistake.
Yeah, I guess that's
Didn't discard any cards either. Or maybe she's just trolling us. Like
that might be the
she's
case.
like can't wait to see Ben and Vexer try to try to explain
Yeah.
this one.
Or well, the live game pressure, it's a thing, right? Like
Absolutely.
it's definitely a thing. Like, but not sure if they're on the 45-minute timer because when you're on the 45-minute timer, that's when you have like some heavy pressure, and like
Hmm.
and you just see it like taking away while you're trying to think what to do. But yeah, like that could have only been like a misclick type of thing that she just clicked through or forgot that she still had one, or she was probably just like so focused on the 0 out of 3 that maybe forgot that there was still one
Yeah,
and was
you
just
get
really
tunnel
thinking
vision
of,
sometimes. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like maybe she was thinking of protecting Sunderbed there. What I noticed here is that Fossey is being very like very careful with the summoner. Like she's just trying to not advance too much, not expose like really not go too forward, right? Like in which you would be in a potentially risky position. But I
Hmm.
guess like we've seen like a few whiffs on each side, so it just balanced it out at least back to back. Like no one is killing anyone. It seems.
Yeah, we'll just build up. It's funny that this matchup has the potential to be so explosive. Like I think of Sundervid as very like it's like plodding forward slowly and calculated, but and I guess I undervalue the fighters because like you said in that game you played, just a few attacks on Edia, pushing her around can be absolutely brutal. Um, and Edia too can just explode. Um, in Sunderved's face. I wonder if that's just a necessary part of this matchup. Is we're just we're both gonna bide our time for like 60% of the game. Then there's gonna be 2 turns of just absolute massacre, and then we'll just try to clean up and see who comes out on top of the econ after that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, and my guess is maybe Fossey noticed that like she didn't play exploit, and then she kept 3 cards and only discarded one. So she's probably getting ready
Mm,
for the combo and doesn't really want to give her like any good targets or
that's
anything like
fair.
that.
Yeah.
Like, she wants to be far away so that when it happens, she's just able to just retreat and force Elia to have to come all the way forward if she wants to attack.
Uh huh. Uh huh. Yeah, and Lena's been very conservative with discards too. I think just taking her time to get what she needs.
Yeah, yeah, she's been super conservative. So yeah, that tells us like those 3 cards that she didn't want to play, we kind of like know what they have to be. But now the risk, is that well, the I guess she drew 2 new cards, and like unless it was an advisor or a sage, like she can find herself in that position in which she doesn't have anything to play, like any new units. Like if they had killed a
Mm-hmm.
knight on the stage and then she was in that position, like you end up just having to like retreat, right? And just take 1 inactivity damage or just play
Yeah.
stake to try to get something and take the inactivity damage.
Yeah. Yeah. It can be tough. I'm curious. I'm curious to see when the explosion happens. Cause yeah, I don't really see Edia like if we have the combo right now, we've got to be struggling with it. Cause you move forward, and there's not really that much within range too. I mean, maybe you move forward and then an advisor pushes you another spot, and then you're just in there. But of course, that can that can be punished pretty hard by anything.
Mhm.
But hopefully we can establish
Exactly.
ourselves something in the mid board to get a combo off. I don't know. Eternal Council is hard.
Yeah, it's one of the
Here it
hardest factions.
comes.
Yeah, she's doing it.
We have the assault as
And
well.
the assault, like she wouldn't play it right now
Nope.
because there's nothing to
That's
assault.
true. That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
so and especially she only has 2 counters, so she needs those for the insight. She can't really afford the assault now, but like if she's doing it right now, my guess is she'll have to move forward just to make it a little bit relevant. Like I don't think she'll want to like shoot only the color. She might go
Oh, wait,
for the let's see.
you think we could do 8 at Soondabed this turn? Any shot of that?
Mm,
I think that's maybe what we're
well,
going for. Hell yeah.
yeah, yeah, looks like she's going for that, and but yeah, yeah, she's good for that. There it goes. Like the advice, but no, the thing is the brute. Like she will need to get 2 out of 2 on the advisor, or like not use the. Well, I guess no. Yeah, she can do that.
Yeah.
Like she's
No,
going for
the
the
advisor
advisor, even if she
goes,
doesn't
and
get
then
the
the
two out of
sage
two.
attacks. Yeah.
Exactly, because I was thinking like you don't want to waste the sage attack on like again the brute, but the sage can attack this linger and then use the extra damage. So yeah, that's what she's going for. That's what we were talking about, like the
I like it.
explosion coming in. Ooh,
And
so
it
now
is.
she
Oh,
even
and we
gets
get it
that.
too. So we're gonna like wipe the board right now. And it is unfortunately only 6. We weren't able to get to the maximum 5 boosts on insight, but we take what we can get. It still could still
Mhm.
knock Sundavid down to half, and that is suddenly very scary. We could just rip through his blocker at any point and kill him.
Exactly, yeah,
Or
and
we could get 1 damage right now and just cry and concede.
but now this is where Fossey's like being careful approach is going to play out. Like she'll be able to just retreat to
Yeah.
her to the left side. And like that slinger can go all the way up and then just finish up the knight.
Uh-huh.
So, and she gets the slinger, which with this one was important too, just to clean those up. But well, we'll see like a collar or a brute show up there just to protect Sunderbed in the next turn. So it's going to be
Yeah.
interesting to see if Edia is going to be able to sustain the
All right.
momentum of getting
Here
enough
it comes.
boost.
Big roll.
1, 2, 3,
4.
4, 4.
We
Okay,
take it.
that's solid.
We we take 4. And yeah, this turn
Yep.
absolutely. It seems like something you mentioned earlier of like you don't. There's only so many turns you feel like you can hold those cards with as Edia. Like you don't want to hold like just have them sitting in hand for 4 turns waiting for the perfect moment. Sometimes just like, well, crap. I'd rather play these than not play these. So I guess I'm gonna go for it, even though this isn't the perfect situation for it.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But she managed to get like some amazing value out of this play. And the funny thing is that like a key factor for this was the fact that the sage was still alive, right? Like without that sage, that turn, the odds on that turn would have been much lower.
Yes.
Well, I guess the fact that the knight was there would have allowed her. Yeah, it would still would have allowed her to do that without wiping the other 2 units. That was critical for her to get the magic right now because she was really low. So we'll see. Like right now, we'll see if she retreats or we could see a ramming advance. So right now she could just
That'd
go
be
all
pretty
in.
rough.
Yeah, like right
That'd be a
now she
lot
could
of
be.
dice on Edia.
There's also battle leader. So let's see. Battle leader and this thing, like she could be doing
Battle
some
leader could be
serious,
lethal.
not
No,
lethal,
not
but
quite.
like hey, if she ends up the turn at like just a couple, like life, because it could be like 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, like 16 dice or something like that at least, if she gets 4 attacks. But it seems that she doesn't have battle leader or ramming advance.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that is the case, we might just see Sunderbed go back behind the brute. But she did play a slinger, so why would she play a slinger in the front? I mean, that would tell me that she's thinking of attacking Edia, but the thing is,
Yeah.
you don't want to just attack her like with 2. You would actually do the opposite of that. Like if she only
Yeah.
have 2, like you wouldn't get close. So.
Yeah. I mean maybe just a stronghold or something, but
Yeah, that could be it. Like if she just, but if that was the case, we would see Sunderved moving forward
moving
to get a
forward.
hit
Yeah, that's true.
first. So we'll see if that is the case.
Oh,
Nope.
and coming back. All right.
Okay, so now we'll see the mystery of the other slinger. Yeah, because right now, oh man, she's going forward. Okay, right now with only 3 counters, it's not like it's not super hard to think about like letting that die out, letting it run
Yeah.
out of counters. So I'm surprised she's going for that attack there. At least she gets now the kill. It would have been insane if it was another whiff. And then here, let's see. Okay, she got
2 for
2
2.
damage at
Paid
least,
off.
right? Like it's yeah, exactly. At least when you get 2, it doesn't feel like such a waste because just getting 1 out of those,
Yeah.
it's a bit painful.
Yeah. Yeah, and damage on Edia, it's been my go-to strat ever since Edia came out, and I've stuck with it of just like what Edia gets boost if I attack her, I don't care. I'm just gonna damage her because once she's at low health, like her deck requires her, so she'll really struggle. That's my go-to strat for Edia is just to get the chip damage against her, and I haven't changed it.
Yeah, but now the thing is that's going to be counterproductive. Like in there now, well, there's going to be something for whatever unit she summons to eat. So
Hmm.
she can get like 2 units right now, like one going for the fighter, one finishing off like that slinger, and one going for the like the brute. Like Eddie is going to go for the brute. I guess maybe what she's thinking is um, that position is going to be taken at least. Like she could then summon something on that side and hit Edia because she knows that Edia is going to go for the brute, right? That's kind of like the obvious expectation. You want to like shoot the things with a lot of health with those 8 attacks.
Uh,
And if in that position, then you would be able to do like a big turn with bringing a fighter in, and then bringing like something from the root position down, and then like bringing like doing like a multi-attack type of thing with ramming advance. So maybe she's plotting something like that. Like there might be some logic behind taking that position there.
and interesting. So we just spent 4 boosts to perpetuate both of these events, which is interesting decision because
Oh
maybe you
wow.
would just do the insight and not the seek. So maybe there's an assault in hand, or just looking to cycle. I'm
Yeah,
sure there is
that's
some world where Edia could get dice on Sunderbed with a psychic assault. It'd be
That's
very
probably
tight.
what she's going. Yeah, that's what she's going for. That would make sense, right? Because otherwise, why would you really care so much about those extra 3, right? Because at this point, unless you have learn in hand, then you're in that situation in which if they don't attack you the next turn, you just like everything just fizzles out.
Yeah.
So that could be like we suspected that she had psychic assault in hand. So
Mm-hmm.
if she has like a scholar, that would be enough to get the 5 damage out of the, well, not the 5 actually.
I think you
Um,
need a scholar and an advisor because you're gonna get 2, one from the build phase and one from the attack phase of
two,
Seek,
three,
and then
four.
you need 3 more from that. So an advisor moving, another advisor
Yeah,
moving, and then also a scholar attacking. So it's pretty tight to be able to do all 5 damage. Since
yeah,
this unit
exactly.
is not starting, if it started within summon phase of Edia, if it was like 2 spaces up, then
Yeah.
absolutely we could kill it with psychic assault. But now it's pretty tight.
Yeah, and because of the movie, actually, not even another advisor. Like you need 2 sages. That would be the only way to get that because one sage wouldn't need to move to attack, and then you would get the advisor move, ping, then the sage attack, and then
Yeah, the
the
scholar, I
other
think you
sage
mean.
attack.
The
The
scholar
scholar,
is the
yeah,
one that draws cards.
the
Yeah.
other scholar attack, and then the 2 from the. So that would be the only way. So 2 scholars would get you the brute out of the way. So let's see if that is the case because to keep the seek, I guess something like that would have to be the case, unless she already has another insight in hand. That's another reason maybe that she doesn't care about
Mm-hmm.
keeping this insight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or yeah, if we just have a bunch of other cards, it's always tough. It's the the biggest puzzle is the combo management. But at least I feel like Eddie, I always see it as like a dual edged sword in terms of complexity because on the one hand, like managing the combo is really unwieldy, but at the other hand, the combo and how it works is fairly intuitive. Like draw cards, and when you draw cards, do good things, as opposed to something like Ret Talus is like a bit more complicated as to like what cards you want to hold in hand, as to how you want to pull off a combo.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we'll see if you have it. If we're not able to go for Sundervid this turn, do you think we just I don't know, discard both of the events and like retreat with Edia, or Edia just attacks the brute and then an advisor can hopefully get her to safety or something. Um,
Yeah, that's what I would go for. Like, really, you just
yeah,
want to like keep the pressure now. You cannot retreat at this point, but you just want to make sure that you're not leaving too many flanks open, so that a fighter doesn't start like shifting you into like many hits.
yeah,
So you could really do it by getting out of the. If you get a unit out of the forward gate that she has in B3, and then just position it on C4, then that like yeah, if it's a range unit, you can even take the front spot. If it's like a melee unit,
yeah.
you just put it in next to it, and
One of
that way
those
at
two.
least, well, I guess a brute still gets through that if they have another brute. So
Yeah,
the best situation there would really be a range unit to take the position because the Vargath right now is still running out of 1 gate. So that's like something you can exploit, right? Like at this point, you put a lot of pressure by just taking that spot. Uh, I would maybe at that point you don't care that much about the fighter and you just focus on killing the slinger. And so that's what I would go for in that situation. If she's not thinking about like trying to go for 8, so she might be counting right now if she has enough and all that. Like this is this big turns, like you really want to make sure that you counted that properly,
Absolutely.
right? You don't want to find out like,
Can't press
oh
that
wait,
undo button.
yes,
One
like
damage
I was
short of killing
one,
the brute.
yeah, one damage short, and now I have to shoot my 8 attack to a 1 damage brute. Like that's devastating when you find yourself in that situation.
Yeah. Yeah, there's very few other factions that you can't undo with like the cloaks the cloaks being like sort of the only one with the versatile attacks in the move phase. And now also so sometimes the devout cultists will screw you as well when you're not expecting it.
Yeah, exactly. Those, and the funny thing is that those can screw the opponent. Like it's not you, right? Like it's the because the opponent can be like thinking about like, oh yeah, if I do this ability or whatever, and then the ability kills the cultist,
I
and then you're in trouble.
I lost a game on stream against Jexic the other day because I had thought I clicked I clicked Volcanic Blast 3 times, but then wait, I wanted to do it. Or I clicked it 4, but then I wanted to do 3, but then I pressed undo too many times and it only did 2. But that was enough to destroy the cultist, but not another unit. So like there wasn't a timing conflict between 2 units being destroyed. It just instantly killed the cultist, and then I lost the game.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's,
Like
it's rough.
for me, it's with Phoenix Helps that is happening, which you're kind of like
Mm,
planning your move with the archers, and then it's like, oh, that archer just killed that thing. I can't go back.
yeah, yeah. And And yeah, makes sense for these turns to be the ones that we really think about. The combo turns. How are we gonna handle these cards in our hand?
Yeah, yeah. My guess is she's gonna go big on this one if she's thinking so much about it. And it's likely, I mean, it's easy for the council to have a range unit to take that spot.
Yeah, easily
So
a sage or an advisor, both very good.
exactly, she still has, I think, the 3 sages. She still has 3 advisors at least, I believe. So there are 6 cards there that could do that job. And that would remove most of the risk, right? Like because the risk there is like a ramming advance turn coming in through that, or really not even
Mm-hmm.
a ramming advance, or just like even a fighter, and then the brute or whatever replaces that, also rushing forward, or even Sundervet, ramming advance all the way to Eldia, a slinger behind him, something like that. Could try to
Yeah,
shift this, but if she shoots for 8 to Sundervet, now that like Sundervet is just going to be in hiding mode, like he won't
for the
really
rest
be
of
a
the game.
threat
Yeah,
unless it's like a kill turn that you try to do, which is possible, right? Like we were saying, between battle leader and ramming advance, or the one to martial forces, like you can get like 3, even maybe 4 attacks on Nadia on the same turn.
yeah, absolutely. I'll be curious to see if this shakes out in the end game. I'm always curious to see like how well Edia can just like pull out an end game with Katu alone. Like if the combo falls flat and doesn't really work, like do we have enough just to get things to work with only Katu, with only some like big econ at the end. Tough.
Yeah, if it hits that, like I think Council wins like that game most of the time. Like if it already got to the end game, Vargath, it's rare for Vargath to hit the end game because it's not a faction that you will ever really just be playing defensively, like staying back or something like that. Like you'll always be looking for confrontation. So most of the games really end before you get to that point. Or sometimes like it goes like a long game, but not really the way to the like last moment. So she's going
All
for it. So
right.
the salt is coming in. So we have one scholar. Let's see if there's another one coming because she would need a second scholar for the
Yeah,
like to
maybe
get
we
the
top decked it. And I think we could have done the play too as well if we had just spawned the scholar next to the slinger and we had an advisor in hand. I think that would also get us to 5. But we've already given
yes.
up on that.
Correct. Yeah, that will also do it. So the Sage, oh,
And the
interesting.
Sage.
Okay,
So we're at
so
least
I'm
we're
not
at
sure
least
what's gonna
kind
happen.
of safe. And this is funny. Fuzzy just sent us a message of that. Lena and I are discussing all the things Massimo and Vexer will yell at us later for doing. And then just what the heck? I'm just doing it. And yeah, it's live games. You just got to do it. You just got to have fun.
So interesting. So while she didn't use a Sage to take the spot, and I wonder then the Sage might just be gonna be covering one flank. The Scholar might be going after the fighter. And I guess Edia, like she would definitely want to use that on the brute. Now the thing here is that all of those are going to be fizzling out next turn unless she has the learn in hand ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hypothetically, if Sundervet attacks her, ooh, that's interesting. Uh, might be in a bit of a tough spot if the wrong things come out of that gate. But hypothetically, we could have two boosts if she gets attacked again, so we could at least keep something in play, and then maybe we'd have the other aspects in hand for play it again. And yep, we're just going for it, hitting this brute for a bajillion. And the brute damage as well. Hopefully the scholar will go 3 for 3. We'll see it. And I mean, thankfully, oof. That's unfortunate. I suppose that Fuzzy only having 2 magic in hand, like, I mean, I guess that is still like 2 fighters, but at the very least, it's not like a brooter and a brute and a caller. So Eddie is at least
Yeah.
safe from something like that.
Well, but I'm really confused because she used a Sage to cover the other side, but left that flank open. Wonder why.
Yes, it's 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 tough to see. I mean, maybe hey, maybe it's baiting other units. Though I think also as per their message, I think they're just playing and and not thinking through every single possible thing. As you
Yeah.
are forced to, I have so many like YouTube like because I play lots of games on stream. So many like YouTube comments of someone finding like a play that was much better than what I did, or a kill that I didn't see. It just it comes with the live games. It's part of the fun.
Exactly. And well, she could have the second copies in hand too. Like we have to keep in mind that we've only seen like this
Mm-hmm.
is the first copy of all these events. So when you have the second one, like you want to like just use it so that it's not clogging your hand. So you don't mind like having the first one just giving you slightly less value that maybe you would hope for because you know that the second one is coming. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'll
Oh,
see now. I mean,
also have in sorry, real quick in chat, Panopticon 6650 might be to protect against the fighter chain. Um, wait, I thought I understood that, and then I is it? Yeah, I see. If the is it easier to like the fighters can't now like force Edia to the right side? Like maybe if the sage was on the left, we could just have 2 fighters like force her way to the side or something. And I was also thinking
yeah,
about
like
like playing around a brute on the sage. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, maybe something like that was what she was thinking. Because now the thing is,
Mm.
now the second flank is just open for the taking. Like before, you needed the fighter to hit her to the right, and then you needed like a caller to move Sunderville or something to hit on that side, right? Like once the fighter moves you, maybe the slinger would have been the case, but now like any unit can like do that hit there. And it seemed that Fossey wasn't gonna be like just hiding from the monster Elia. Like she might just go at her.
Wonder if we have a stronghold.
Maybe. Let's see. What is that
Nope,
slinger doing now?
we
Oh
sure
no,
don't.
no strong. Oh,
Who
okay,
gets a
she's
little.
gonna, yeah, do the fighter, move her up, then the slinger attack. So yeah, even though like she's like chipping at her like slowly, but the problem there is that by doing that fighter, like shifting her up, now she would be able to move her and attack for 8 Thunderbird. At that point, like she would be pretty exposed. I guess that would be the risk. So maybe she doesn't mind, like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you come here and attack me for 8, and then I'll just finish you off. Like I can deal the remaining like 7, 8 damage.
We'll
So
see if he does.
you know that.
And there's
Oh,
a
there we go.
gate.
That
it's
takes care of that risk. She has the gate.
it's
So
been a while.
the
Yeah.
game has been close at least, right? That's it's been like anybody's game still. Like we don't really know where this is gonna go.
We'll see. We'll see if these hold. And yeah,
She has to
Edia
play
with sorry.
yeah, she's going for the 2 attacks. It's well at that point, but the gate, if she does that play, the gate has to go there.
Yeah.
And if she attacks, like it has to be something like that, right? It's either that or just not give her any units and just like try to like take them off the range of Vedia so that everything fizzles out because that's oh, she actually didn't play learn at the end of the turn, so I'm surprised like Fuzzy is not just allowing her to just say just 1 turn you don't attack her and then everything goes away, all those 3 events.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I struggle with that because it's like, well, maybe like I think a lot of I think I would attack her too. Like I usually I see an attack on Edia and I go for it. That does make sense. Yeah, all the events would go. I'm like, well, but maybe like only keeping one isn't really gonna matter, especially if it's a low health unit in front. Funny, this is really gonna slow down Sunderved's momentum. I mean, I suppose an aggressive stronghold, but it's definitely nice to have forced Sunderved to do something like that.
Yeah. Well, she got the 3 out of 3, so at least now she's getting her into like a danger range in which she cannot be that reckless. Like she cannot really just rush forward now without worrying about how many flanks. Uh, she's
Yeah.
within like a single turn type of kill with a like fighter and so well. But as you say now, Sunderbeth is a little bit trapped there, right? So
Yeah.
if you're putting that gate there to wait for Eldia to fizzle out, then also giving her a target there with a fighter is
Yeah.
not going to help you with that. But little by little, I mean, at this point, she's at 8. There's still 15 cards in the deck. She can keep doing this while if she keeps Thunderbird alive. It's not like
Yeah.
impossible for her to suddenly like one more of this 3 damage attacks, and then Eldia is in a like risky range. So we'll see what she keeps. Probably whatever she doesn't have like the duplicate of.
Yeah. I feel like with the right cards, we could really like just claim the mid board right now and like get rid of any potential risk. Like if the Sage moves up, another card moves up, and then like we play an advisor, like we could even just like kill this fighter and then force Eddie up, and now we've like occupied all of the gates in the midfield. That's always where my mind
Yep.
jumps to immediately is occupy the forward
Yeah, yeah,
gates.
yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a nice play for sure. Yeah, like doing that, and I mean at that point, let's see, 1, 2. Well, it depends what event she has because
Yeah.
yeah, even just like covering all of those positions would be setting up a lot of pressure for them. Even if you don't try to go for the gate with the last 8 attack. Oh, because, well, it depends if she has like the second psychic assault. But the thing
Uh-huh.
is, right now, whatever she plays, like even if she plays it again, she's going to be again in 1 turn type of counter thing. Like you only have 1 more turn, right? You don't have enough counters to keep sustaining all the stuff.
Yeah.
So she either slows things down and just try to like gain the board, take advantage like of what you said, and then gather enough counters for a future turn, or tries to finish this off really fast with just playing the events. We'll see if she plays any more events. We haven't seen any learns. We haven't seen any any of the other copies. So there's a lot of possibilities still.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if there's ever a world where we just discard all three of these and hope and hope for the next copy of each of these events. Like we're like, well, let's just let this fizzle out. Let's hold on to these two boosts for the next time that we do a combo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, that's a possibility right now because unless you can get some value out of those events this turn, like you don't want to just waste more, like some good value out of them, right? Like we'll see. And it seems okay. I think they don't have the hard timer, right? The hard 45, because otherwise they would be in the last few minutes. But I'm trying to remember if they said something about which one they would do.
I think they might have said they're doing the 3 day, just in
Okay.
case there's any
Okay.
like yeah any conflicts. But we'll still hope to. We still will be done at the 2 hour mark. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes.
Yeah, because otherwise, like they would be in the last like 15, 10 minutes each. But it
Yeah,
doesn't seem
yeah,
like they were in that way.
yeah. The 45 the 45-minute timer is a blessing and a curse because like on the one hand it there's a certain psychological aspect of just like it just forces you to feel like you have to go fast. Like I know some of our games we've said like an hour timer and can concede at the 45 minutes, but it's so easy when like you're not actually just gonna lose when the 45-minute so when the 45-minute timer goes down to just be like, oh, I'll just take like 1 extra minute and then do the turn.
So I like the 1 hour timer that we do, but you know what we should do is like um, keep it at 1 hour, like not like we did in the last game in which we extended it a bit because I guess the psychological effect is that that for example, like it was okay. I just take a couple more minutes. Don't worry about it because you have to think a complex turn. But then when you don't have the pressure of the timer, like sometimes you just take 10 minutes on it, right? Like you can take 10 minutes on just a single turn. So having
Yeah.
the pressure of something that is like this hard deadline really just pushes you into making a decision and just saying like, yeah, let's just go for this.
Yes. Yes, the last game we did, I swear I was trying to like to stick to the timer and and I think like I had like and you only had like less than I think we both had like less than a minute left
Yeah,
and then you messaged me, oh, let's just do a few more minutes, and I was like, okay, phew. But
yeah, we
it's
had like a minute, and I felt like because it was kind of like the decisive turn, right? Pretty much like things were gonna get decided in the next turn.
yeah.
So
I
I felt
still
like,
think I
well, I
did,
don't want you
yeah.
to just freaking out. Like, try to make a good call on this one.
Try to make it. I think hilariously, I think what I ended up doing was worse than what I would have just done initially. Because what I was gonna do initially that turn, we're talking about a different game right now. But what I was gonna do initially was something more risky, but would pay off more if I like got lucky rolls. And I ended up taking something safer. But I think I was gonna. I think the safer play wasn't a winning play. I don't think I could have won with that. I had to take the greater risk. So. uh,
Yeah, it could be.
Sometimes.
I mean, that play required 1 out of 3 on when I was shooting. And yeah, we're talking
Yeah.
about the last matchup that we played on the league showcase, the Cloaks versus Cage Goblins. So that one, because we usually when we do those, we do a 1 hour timer, and because there's no real option for 1 hour timers, we just do it like, okay, so we know everyone knows we have 1 hour. If you hit 1 hour, you just lose and you just concede, right? So it's similar to the 45 minute from that perspective. That
Yeah.
time, like we just said, like, okay, just take a couple more minutes. This is the last turn, but
Yeah.
yeah, the next ones, let's just take it to 1 hour because on those that turn, like I knew, like for example, on my end, all I was gonna do just attack anything that was in front of me, right? You just had like 3 more goblins, so I just had to attack whatever was in front. You
Yeah.
had a couple options that really were just changing the odds on the play, and I think the one you took pretty much needed me to get a 1 out of 3 on the attack of locks, right? So it was kind of like first you needed to get your attacks, and then you needed me to get like 1 out of 3, which is I think at 25% or 20% or something like that.
Yep. Yep. That's and sometimes I mean So I was satisfied with that. With after a close game, I was coming out a little bit behind, but with some lucky dice, there was still a chance. So I think if I had taken slightly riskier attacks, it would have been a better chance of me winning had you gotten that 1 out of 3, as opposed to the attacks that I took. Like I left more of your units alive than I should have if I wanted to win.
Yeah.
Um,
And
but
on
that's
that one, I thought that like the cloaks were gonna have an easier time that they ended up having. I think
mm,
the percentages at the end were 53, well, 52.45, whatever percent leaning to the cave goblins. So it was pretty close. I thought it was gonna be leaning slightly to the cloaks. That like the goblins needed to be a bit more lucky to be able to get that. But yeah, it was the other way around on that one.
yeah, yeah. But fuzzy-marmot is sending some funny messages. She says she wants my battle leader, and I am not gonna let her learn it. So, that's fine, and they're talking over voice chat, so maybe there's some trash talk going back and forth. But yeah, if Fuzzy plays battle leader, it'll be an active event, so then Lena can just play and learn. To steal it on her turn.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a
and
yeah. Go ahead.
this is one of those
OV.
matchups in all the events. Oh, look at that, Ovi,
I'm
and she
listening. I
kept
promise.
the Seek. She kept so she wants Ovi to be bigger.
It's reasonable. Not sure. Yeah. It's a tough decision. I guess Ovi's occupying that forward gate, and we're protecting Edia. I mean, I like protecting Edia. Or no, the advisor goes forward 2 spots. I see. And so Edia. I'm a little bit scared as to how Edia is going to be safe, but we shall see.
Yes, well, just say from the perspective that it's going to be a single flank open. I don't think the advisor is going to move her forward because at that point
Yeah,
you're just asking for trouble. Okay, look at that. Yeah, the gate. So
that makes more sense.
just taking over that position. Yeah, that makes sense. Now she has like the forward pressure settled there. And yeah, like it's hard for Vargath now to try to like come and block that 5 gate spot. Well, I mean, Ovi, it's not like he has like a lot of health, right? So yeah, like she can block it and just attack for 3. And even though like he's gonna attack you back pretty hard, like you're like potentially 2 attacks away from getting rid of the champ. So she'll get to do that. Let's see, there she just needs 2 out of 3. Ooh, she only got 1.
Unfortunate. I guess not the hugest deal. This fighter isn't too much pressure or anything. And if anything, maybe it's even a little bit nice that it's not a brute.
Yeah, that's true. At least like they cannot hit Edia, but now she has like a potential one shot to the Sage. Okay, the Slinger also survives, and the fighter is not going to survive. And this is one of those matchups in which I think every single event from Vargath is a useful event that the council can actually get some value out of. Many of the
Uh-huh.
matchups, like all the
There's
stuff that
just
you
none.
get is so specific that it's useless, right? That it's really, I mean, it's still good because it's one magic. Like getting one magic out of the counter
Yeah.
is a solid use out of it. But in this one, like anything you get, you definitely like you're gonna keep it and try to use it more likely instead of just discarding for magic.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and that's always the Eternal Council matchups more than any others can yeah have some really funny stuff because of that.
Exactly, yeah. Like you get to play some stuff that's very unique, like very unusual to be playing those things. It's always fun to do those.
I
That's why
remember
it's
there
funny
was
with
yeah.
the Fallen Kingdom matchup. Like that one is such a pain for Fallen Kingdom. It's because that one, like
Mm-hmm.
the Sacrificial Pyre, is such a good event that many times you just wait until they play it to play the learn. So taking down Eldia, like when they all can also do like at least one or two like pyres, it's really hard.
Yeah, yeah. I remember a scuffle of Pezza versus Punk Beam where they were doing Eternal Council versus Obsidian Dwarves, and I was like sitting in the commentator's chair like yelling like, "Oh my goodness, Obsidian Dwarves, you gotta move up, like you gotta rush, like now's the time." But it turns out I had completely forgotten that Edia had a Volcanic Blast in hand already, and had a bunch of boosts, and so they were just the Balzar was absolutely dead if they moved forward. Um,
Oh, that's
just
hilarious. Yeah, like
yeah.
that's such a great use for like for that because well, she happens to have a lot of counters at some point in the game, right? Like at the end when like your events are already gone, but you still have counters. That's perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Oh,
actually, all the
interesting.
other ones are well, not only the only one of the other events because I don't think you can get weapons anymore, right? Well, no, you can because if the creature dies at the beginning of the turn of the opponent, like if they end up the turn in one life, you would get the weapon. I mean, it doesn't happen often, but all right. So she had the brute. I mean, I would guess that she's gonna keep hitting Edia right now. That's the strategy she's been following. And at that point, like between hitting Ovi and Edia, like you would probably want to hit Edia.
It's tough to commit a 5 healthy unit to that though. Like I never like throwing
Yeah,
a
that's
yeah.
exactly. Like you don't want to give OV a good target. Like at that point, I would actually commit to that side to try to like finish off OV. Like right, if you're sending a brute, you want to do it because you're also moving Sundervet closer, and then you have a slinger on the back shooting or something like that. That way, at least you have some odds of
Hmm.
killing him. But it looks like she's going the other way, right? Oh wait, she used Battle Leader just for the move.
Just for the move. That's a move I have done and I've been made fun of in chat quite a bit for whenever I
Yeah,
use
that
Battle Leader just for the move.
Yeah, that's something you usually want to try to avoid. Like, I've never actually had to use it that way. I would rather discard it for Magic than just getting a move out of it. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing like a play for the kill, like that's gonna give you the game, like yeah, you definitely it's okay to just use it that way. Like if you're getting like a 70-80% shot of just getting the positioning out of it. Okay, so she walked that back. Yeah, because oh, what was the extra move that she needed there?
Mhm.
To get the brute, get the collar.
Yeah, I
Wait,
think
is
it's
that's a new collar? That's okay. Yeah, so that collar moved the brute once, then again. Okay, so she's got every single attack so far on Edia, so now she's at 6. It's gonna
I guess
then she's gonna get
I suppose we're
hmm?
really prioritizing the advisor here, I guess. Like we, because oh, and we miss it, because we could have just not played the battle leader and left Sundervid one spot to the side, and we would still at least buff the like a fighter attacking the sage or something. But I think Fuzzy's trying
Exactly.
to
Yeah,
wipe out the advisors.
I would have gone. I would have gone for that because you already had the boost there. Well, the +1 on the fighter, which those sages are. I mean, they are a danger. Like you want to usually prioritize those guys. Like get rid out of them. The advisor is not such a big deal unless LDI is like in the monster mode. But otherwise, like those guys are not a concern against the Vargat. Like they can barely attack you. They're going to be hitting you for one or two. But the Sage, like that guy can just bring down like big units. Okay, so that was the turn. Now Elia has to start considering, like she's at 6 now. So just one magic left. Ovi in the board, like she'll be able to get rid of that. Well, have a chance of getting rid of that brute, like 5 out of 8 on range. That's I think within the advantageous odds. And then even with the, like, she could do with the advisor, like an attack to get Edia out of the rescue range. So the advisor could finish off the fighter and then send the Edia one back. Like that could be because she has to start considering now that at 6 life, you're not that comfortable with the council.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially against the Vargath, right? Which can like attack for 6 easily on the same flank, like with the slingers and boosted the unit +1. Like that's the usual amount of dice you're going to be seeing when they're coming in formation. The good thing is that Sundervid, like the good thing for the council is that Sundervid is far away on the other end, or some gates in between Edia and Sundervid, so she's not facing like the phalanx from this guy sort of right in front of her.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like this game is going to econ. I don't know. I feel like there's not. I don't know. I feel like we're gonna be in a stalemate for a while and just end up with those last few units. Which will be funny if it takes much longer. Though I suppose, I mean, if Edia has a full combo in hand right now, I mean, you could probably hit Sundervid for an 8, but that would be risky and whatnot.
Yeah, that would be unlikely at this point. I doubt like she would need to have exactly like all those cards and like those 3, the combo pieces. And not sure if she would have enough draws for that. She would also need the advisor to probably hit for like 1 or 2 at least. So then she would be left exposed. So yeah, that would be a risky.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see. I wonder. Yeah, at what point with Edia do you just be like, okay, I've done the combo. I've played that. That phase of the game is over. I'm really not going to get much more value out of the combo pieces. Let's make sure we have magic to get Katu down when it's time. And
She's
just
close to
hope.
that. Like she's a few turns away. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I also have like tons of games where I'm at like 4 or 5 magic and I just like can't get to the magic I need for Katu for like 3 turns in a row, and that is brutal. That will absolutely just lose a game.
Yeah, it is tough at the end. Like sometimes I just end up discarding like multiple units just to get to the Katu
Yeah,
magic, because
yeah.
if you don't have the pressure right in your face already, like you really want to get him as soon as possible, because it takes like 3-4 turns before he's like a real threat that is like one-shotting every unit that they attack. So, and this is a point that what I was mentioning at the beginning, in which like she's 4 cards away from getting to that point in which, like, unless you already play the events, it's gonna be hard to max it out to the +5, because you can still do it, but it's hard when you need to do like the abilities that send something to the bottom to get that extra card to get up all the way to 8. So she's a couple turns away from potentially hitting that spot, really, as she's going to be like drawing right now to get OV as high as possible. And looks like she's keeping it, playing it safe, just now trying to protect Edia. She's going to try to finish off the brute and probably finish off the fighter. Look at that. So Fuzzy finished the turn with only 1 magic. So looks like at least the brute is not a threat right now. It's not a risk there to open up the position to keep hitting Edia. So we'll see if she gets the kill here with 2 attacks. If she has to use a 3, then that opens the door for the fighter to get some final value out of him. Okay, 4. Yeah, it looks like she's gonna get it. So Edia gets to feast on him.
All right. And yep, still getting OV value. I mean, hopefully we can just get value out of OV for as many turns as possible here.
Here, like she already got the value with because well, she's got like that big brute, and they're not gonna kill Ovi. Like he's in a relatively safe position here that even a dual attack might not get him, as Sundervet is not within the range of boosting those units. And now she's actually threatening Sundervet on the top, so like she only has one magic and might have to devote it to covering that side. And here's the first learn. Like had been a while we hadn't seen them, so she's gonna get the battle leader that Fossey was trying to avoid giving her.
Yes, yes.
So my guess is that she had the learn in hand for a while now and was literally just waiting for an event because you do want those events. They're like really useful.
Interesting. Yeah, that's not something I would think of.
Mm.
And coming in, I guess more damage on Edia is going to make this hard. Maybe some sort of battle leader play will finish things out. I don't know. Oof, that's terrible. That's very sad.
Oh, I keep surviving. No one's dying here.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that saved Edia some damage. And look at that, like she's going forward. Like she probably thinks like, hey, you know what? This game is not looking good for me. Let's just go and try to take her down. Like she finally move forward and we'll see. I mean, at 6, she's still in a good position that she can take 2 attacks probably and survive. Like one range, one melee, which is what would come through one flank.
Yeah.
So let's see how many she discards. So far, it looks like only one. And you always want to remember the stuff because sometimes, like, you don't even notice, right? Like when they take your events, it's all those discard things just happen, and there's nothing that tells you what took place. So it's easy sometimes to just forget that they have your event, right? Until it's like, wait, what the hell? What are they playing? And
Yeah, yeah.
so let's see what are her options. I guess if she has events right now, like this would be a good time to play like a psychic assault or something like that. Like she only has 7 cards left, so if she has the second copies, this is probably the time to play them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because with 7 cards left, it's you're gonna run out. I've had at least one game where I've like been like, all right, I'm ready to do the combo, and then I look and I have 0 cards in deck. You're like, I've just been stalling the entire time, not paying attention to that. There is a ticking clock for the council.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
We'll see though. I mean, I suppose if it goes to econ at this point, like, I feel like I'd rather be the council just because it's gonna be like it's just this gate positioning. Like Sundervet needs another gate down or something, like just to be able to fight over here. Um,
yeah, she might have the
Otherwise,
gate, and that's why she's coming forward. Like in the
that
next
that would make
turn.
sense.
Yeah. So we'll see what she does. So actually, well, she plans a turn Maybe we can see these. Oh, actually, I haven't seen the chat. Yeah, there's a lot of
Oh
messages.
yes, I've been
Mhm.
I've been reading out some of the funnier ones as we keep going.
So, while she moves, if you want to like show, I have a game, a great
Oh
game
sure,
versus
absolutely.
Mountain Vargath that I'm playing right now versus Lark. So this is probably the final turn. It's the kill shot. We can see
Okay,
if
you want me
this or
to
not.
pop up on the
Like,
final turn
do
here?
you have two screens? Do you have two screens?
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay, that way you can put it, the other one, just in case that you see that she starts moving or taking the turn, you can bring back the other one forward.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so here it goes. Let's do this.
Oh snap! It's happening. It's happening on stream. Is this the kill shot?
Yeah, this is like a live game that I'm playing against him. Well, that's not a live game. It's a game that it's still going. Like it hasn't finished. So I don't know what's gonna happen. But let's just do this. Let's take the shot.
Oh snap!
So you know what's coming. For the glory of the horde. Okay,
And this
so I
is
think I have the odds here are definitely heavily in my favor. Okay, so let's go.
They can frost shamans. Maybe I'll let that frost shaman hit. Maybe I won't. We'll have to see.
As long as that guy hits something, I'll do the shaman first.
As long as it does anything.
Yeah, I have two counters, so it would be hard for him to not hit. So let's just do the shaman first, I guess. Because I want to know if I'll need to use the counters or not. Okay, 3. I think that's all I really need. 3, 5, 4, and then I just need 4 out of 6. Yeah, absolutely.
That's interesting. Yeah, like I love the decisions with Grognak as to whether to which unit to attack with first. And there it is, GG. Funny
All right,
stuff.
let's go to the other one. Yeah, that's it's been a great game so far. Like we were, as you saw, like there were barely any cards in hand,
Uh-huh.
and man, he only discarded like 2 cards in the whole game, I believe. For yeah, I think the last one
No way.
it was super
Funny.
like econ oriented, and
Yeah.
yeah, and at the end he probably had I think all his champs in hand. Like he discarded a champ at the end. I don't know. That part was confusing, but I was like struggling for most of the game with Grognak at low health, and was just hoping for that last opportunity at the end. So she's probably planning
Yeah,
a
it's
big
great.
turn right now. I guess she's counting if the events get her there or not. Like right now, if she
Yeah.
has enough damage.
Yes. uh, Absolutely. And Fuzzy saying in our chat as well, like that the entire game they've been trash talking each other about stealing the battle leader, and that finally she decided to just uh, what I decided I'd rather let her have it than get another insight cannon going. Um, it's really fun to play the live to play live games when you're also talking with your opponent on the same time. I usually cannot resist the temptation to just trash talk them the entire game. That's something that we miss on the Scuffle sometimes.
Yeah, I guess well, it's probably hard to focus like if you're talking with the opponent at the same time.
Yeah, you also
Usually, when I'm
make
thinking a turn, I just get
yeah.
tunnel vision and completely like can't hear anything. Like when I'm when I'm thinking of a turn.
Yeah, sometimes you can like distract your opponent and get them to make a mistake or something, or convince them that a certain play that's worse is actually better, and
Yeah, no,
whatnot.
exactly. So she's going for it. Okay, so she had Insight and Psychic Assault, which right now she's in a good position to get like maximum value out of the assault.
Do we
So her
have
wise
another
opinion,
seek? That's the question.
she should, unless it has been discarded. She has been running out of a single Seek, I believe. Like the first one she played, and she kept it for a while, but I don't think we've seen the second one. right now. Wise, which would be a point of no return if she goes through it. She still has 3 cards in hand. And okay, there it goes. Yeah, so
All right. Is there the seek, or is it buried at the bottom of the deck?
I
It's
love those kind of like visual bugs. You saw how suddenly the battle leader got revealed from the hand,
yes, that's
like with
funny.
cards which had been at some point public information when you're seeing it. Okay, so
Yes,
she's also using it.
no seek. That's a little rough. Now it's, I suppose, no. We still have, yeah, no. We're still gonna be able to kill the caller, and then that'll be 11 dice on Sundervid.
Could be. I mean, I guess it depends. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what she's going for. It seems 11.
And
Yeah, yeah. That's it. Oh
oh,
wait,
or
she's
not?
not good.
No, really? Wow. Wow, just going for econ, just being patient, just
Yeah, yeah. Seems
fascinating.
like that's. I guess. Well, I guess for yeah, she needed the extra move to be able to do this, and then she's gonna then just move her to back to safety. Well, not full safety, but more safe spot behind Ovi. It seems.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the at 6 life, throwing 11 dice at an 8 life Sundervid, it's probably not the best approach, right? Because she would end up being exposed in 3 flanks, and it's not hard for Sundervid to kill you there at that point, right? Like she's gonna be easily throwing like what, like 4, 7, 8, 8, 9 dice, could be 9 melee at that point. So that's probably why she's not considering that, because now at 6 life, you're gonna really do that.
Yep, yep.
Okay, she got the 6 out of 6. Well, the 4, she just needed 4, but she got it. Then she's gonna at least get 2 on Sunderved to kind of get him into a like a 1 attack range, closer to
Oh,
that.
yep.
Mm.
Analyze, draw another card, psychic assault. Good stuff. Getting use out of Ovi. Yeah, I'm always curious. Just like, can Ovi and Katu carry a game enough on their own with just that value? It's nice that we've been able to keep
Ovi.
Ovi alive for so long. Yeah,
Okay, she got 1 at least. Yeah, she got 1. Ovi is one of those that I don't play that often. It's not like he's
interesting.
bad, but he's very like unless you're playing him really at the beginning of the game, around the same time that you're going to be doing the combos in which like Seek is going to give you a lot of cards and all that, and you're in a situation in which you can keep him in a ranged situation, like he's going to be all the way on the back shooting for a lot something, and then they will only be able to attack him out of one side. Like that's the situation I like to play him in, but the thing, that situation won't really happen that often. So that's why I don't play him that often. Like it's easy for him. Otherwise, like right now, like they could just with 2 attacks kill him, right? Like it's easy to be in
Yeah,
a position in which he can be killed quickly. So I prefer then to just use those 4 magic to play more of my sages, more of my knights, depending on the situation. And I know that I'm never really going to be in a situation in which I have too much magic with the council. Why? Because I know I need 6 magic at the end of the game for sure for Katu. And with all those 2 magic units, all those sages, and the knights, at least the sages, like they're good enough that if possible, you want to play the 4 of them, right? So there's always enough stuff that you want to play that I never feel like, oh, well, I have too much magic. I'll just play this guy because I don't have anything better. Like that doesn't happen with these guys.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like it's almost the role that I want champions to fill, or most champions to fill in this game, of like good in a particular circumstance, like in a particular way that a matchup can go. Like not necessarily just falls into the factions. Like just their main play
Hmm.
style super well.
Yeah.
I mean, those champs are fun too, but I prefer the champs that are a bit more situational and interesting to like the always play Baldo and
Yes.
Varn champs.
Yeah, I totally get that. Like, I agree with that sentiment a bit because some people like dislike them when they are situational, and like I guess they just want to be able to play them every time in every situation. And the ones that are too good, sometimes the games just revolve around them. Like
Yeah,
the guy from the Vargath, this
yeah, Varn.
name of that dude, Barn. Yeah, like you have to play. That guy is just as good as Thunder, like he's better. Like you have to play him. So every single game I have Varn. I never get to use the other ones. I guess the other ones, at least the, for example, the one with Trample, that guy is situational. Like he's not unplayable. The thing is,
Yeah,
it's really great against matchups like the Cage Goblins, like the Crimson Order, things like that. That are gonna give you like a lot of magic. Then he's viable and he's good. Other than that, yeah, and even the guy who has like the magic attacks, the guy, the splash damage, which I don't know why they, well, that guy, he's also good in some situations, like in some matchups that they
yeah,
just have like this bunch of units all together, like with fungal dwarfs, things like that. Like he can be devastating. He could be really good. Like same with Crimson Order, I guess. Like sometimes they just have so many units. So same thing, right? Situational. So that's good. But the only issue is the ones that are just simply just bad in any situation. Like it's
hmm
really unlikely that in any single game you would say that I prefer to play that guy. I think those champs are just not designed properly. Like they were just champs that they
yeah.
just need to be fixed. Like some of the
The
Vanguard
master
champs,
set
like some of
mainly.
the
Yeah,
exactly like the Vanguards or some like for example that make them the Phoenix Elves, the dragon, I think at 8 magic is just not really costed properly. I think 7 magic would be what a champ like that should be costed, considering the standard that we have nowadays of champs, right? Another one
yeah.
that is also not reflective of what it does is the one for what's polar dwarves, the 6 magic. No, what's the name of?
Are you thinking of Nadiana for the Polar Dwarves? Is
Diana. That
seven
Diana at
magic.
6. I also think that at 6 it doesn't
I think
reflect
I think
what she
she's at
does, right?
7. Am I crazy? Might be crazy. Not Nadiana. Nope, I'm super
6.
crazy.
Look at,
I'm just
but
trying to
look at
guess
that,
accurate
like
here. No, she's a
7
6.
life. Yeah, 7 life. Like she's usually going to be shooting for 4. Like it's hard to make her shoot for more than 4, really, most of the time. So at 6, I think it's just not costed properly. Same thing for the Vanguard one, the one for 6 magic. Right, like the one that is like +1 for any citadel units around. Like it's a champ that costs 6, and you can barely get a +2 out of it, right? Like if you're lucky, you're hitting for 4 with her. Like we have now commons that hit for 6 consistently. Right, like
hmm
I guess that's some of that power curve creep that things just keep getting stronger because they have to keep innovating in some way. Now we have with the Grogs, with the Deepwood Grogs, the warrior that can easily be hitting for 6 without really a lot of commitment, a lot of work on it. I think that one was overpowered a bit. I think they made a little mistake with that one, like just making it because just think about it, like which other unit is can hit for 6? Not even close, right? Like the closest is the Warriors, which can hit for 4. This guy's hit for 6, and sometimes like the commitment you put in there, like it's free because then you just get it back in a
You
potion.
just
Like that's
you just take the
most of the
boost
times
off.
you're going to use it that way. Exactly.
Yeah,
So I,
yeah,
I think when you have champs that can barely hit for 4, paying 6 magic, like they're just completely useless. Like they're just not costed in a way that you can ever use them because you're gonna lose if you play them, right? Like you know. So it's too bad that they're not really trying to adjust those because they probably see it from the perspective in which if we adjust those, then we have to send cards to everyone, like print them again, like many times. So it's not worth
yeah.
for them like a balancing act. Too bad that they just don't do it. Just like I wouldn't mind. Not sure. Probably some people would mind that if they just do it on the online version and then just give you the digital printout for people to, I don't know, just print them or whatever. Like, I would rather have cards that are playable than have cards that are just an automatic discard that you can never play unless you want to lose type of situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the the balancing act of staying in business, and I respect the decision to keep up with the physical edition and not separate the two too much. I still like hold out hope that maybe sometime in like a few years or something there would be the possibility of like a special like errata pack that you could buy that's like 30 updated cards or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I always throw around to that idea, but like as far as given the model that I mean one like as of a few years ago we weren't even sure if we were going to get any errata, so good that we're getting errata period, but given the model that every card needs to be printed, that it wouldn't currently work to just to
Yeah,
redo
like
all of
they
the
wouldn't be able
Master
to
Champions.
just print them all, but that's true. Like they cannot just print them all. But the thing is, like the question is, do you really need to? Like I would be curious to see right now, like with the listeners and chat, like if they would mind if they suddenly say, like, you know what, like all those cards that everyone knows that they need to be fixed, like Blast for zero or the event from Phoenix Elf that should also be zero. Like what if we make the changes online to what we know that would be the balanced version of it? We give you the digital printout for everyone to print at home, and when you're playing the board game you can just have them on the side, so whenever you draw that card that is the one that needs to be fixed, you just replace it with the printout that you have, even of paper, right? Like at that point you already drew it, and when you play it you just use the version, the other version, if you want to use that one, right? Like I wonder if for everyone like that would be like awful, like they would rather just keep the current versions, or if they would prefer to have like the fixed versions and then just get the digital proxies to print out and use them when they play physically.
Well, one comment in chat. I want physical copies. Prefer when they test it online and printed. And I think Waterdy a long time ago, like when errata wasn't even on the table yet. I'm sorry. I just got interrupted. Fuzzy has some funny messages. But Fuzzy says, Massimo's is backseat driving. Text and Lena, quote and do something. Hey Massimo, how's it going? Glad you could tune in. We're having fun. Yeah, no, normally I push I want the scuffle to be in a 2 hour time slot, so I'd push contestants to be done with the game in an hour and a half, but they're they're having a lot of fun with it, so we're bending the rules a little bit, and we'll see what happens. We might have time for a discussion afterwards, a short one, or we might go over, or we might not. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Um, and but Fuzzy also saying that calling Lena calling Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is pretty great.
Yeah, it's
I am a
actually.
big fan of that. Sorry, I was responding to the thing on errata. I think Waterdy, when errata still wasn't even on the table, put out a post in Board Game Geek like as a poll, like what sort of errata would you want? Like no errata, like errata, but there has to be physical, or digital only errata is okay. And I forget what there was, but a surprising chunk of people did say like if there's errata, I want it to be physical. And personally, where I stand is I want to be very careful with errata. I don't think it's as easy. Like I feel like it's easy to like in the Discord and discussions be like, oh, let's just fix all these units and vanguards. Let's buff like every single one of these units and blah blah blah. And like I saw a post the other day of like, oh, Phoenix Elves, let's like buff every single one of their commons. And I don't know. I think it's very easy for errata to be bad instead of good. So I'd want it to be very careful, and so there's a time investment in there that is also playtesting. Like any errata that we want, I want to have like it should have gone through the playtesting machine to be sure that this change actually works and isn't unfun for some reason or unfair. And so that's another set of resources. The playtesters, they're already spending all of their time testing the new decks. That's a bunch of extra time that would be put into if like even just to buff like 6 champions from the master set. That's still a lot of time, extra time for playtesting, and whatnot. But I'm with you. Hopefully hopefully someday there's a way to update a few of the outdated master set cards in a way that's
Mhm.
also feasible for Plaid Hat staying in business.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And yeah, I agree. Like we would expect them to, well, what they do right now, right? Like they test those in the tournaments, and they also probably play test them a bit. And so we would still want that. So we would only want that to happen when it's been validated. Like, yeah, that change makes sense for that deck and everyone. It's kind of like obvious thing. You wouldn't really want to go too wild into just making like, oh, let's just change every card in this, like you were saying, right? Like some people would say like, oh no, let's just overpower everything. It would really be just the cards which are clearly like not playable today with the current space of the design and with the current like I guess a lot of those champions when they first designed them, they probably didn't really play them that much, right? Like they were playing multiple decks, and there wasn't that all those other decks that became like a power creep in the level. But yeah, I guess our best hope really is when the Steam release comes around, like for it to be possible to do mods and then be able to have like a mod, like a community tester type of mod in which you have like only the changes that all the testers agree and they, I don't know, like it would be easy to put like a bow top for them and all that. And the ones that they recommend, like that would be awesome. Like that would make this game like infinitely replayable, right? Like once you're really balancing everything so that all decks at least have a fighting chance and are in a certain way balanced. But I really have no clue what you need to. Okay, so she's going for it. Let's see. So she's retreating, playing it safe,
Yep,
seeing
going for
that
the econ
the
game.
econ game is benefiting her right now, especially because now she's at 4, right? So at this
Yeah,
point, like she cannot
Fatu is
risk it
feasible.
anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, like if she has any other pieces of the of the events, they're probably being used now just for magic for Katu. My guess is she already discarded some of that stuff before, and that's was why she was at 4 magic. And she gets all the kills. She's at 6 life. Elvia is in a good spot. So yeah, this is now a tough position for Fossey. At least now she's at 7 Fossey, so she can still take a hit or two on Sunderbed. He only has 1 magic. That's the risk always of finishing the turn with only 1 magic. Like we know that only 1 creature can come out now, so it's not going to be like a huge turn. And Sunderbed is probably going to end up being a little bit exposed. But my guess is, I mean, Sunderbed could go for the Scholar. He would be out of the range of Ovi at least. But this is a tough
yeah.
position. But let's see what events she has. Maybe she can make something happen.
Yeah, this is the point where I no longer feel like I would have a chance as Sundervid. Like maybe build a bit more magic and whatnot, but especially this turn going in with 1 magic, like we're just by definition gonna lose any tempo that we could have. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
worried, but maybe
for sure.
maybe we'll pull something out of it. We'll see.
Like, right now, it's a tough spot. Like, it's unlikely that she's going to be able to. Oh, cool. What? Okay, well, the guy's not just closest to.
The Summoner Wars gods want this game to end.
Yeah.
Oh no, but then get the 3 for 3 on the other hand. Oh, and hello Massimo. Finally reset my password. That's a mood. Um, Lena is known to be a deep and thorough thinker. I can relate. I I I take so long. All
And
right,
I
let's
think this is
let's
going
see.
to be it, probably. And yeah, that scholar there, She needed to get rid of him. Like even with the Scholar dead, like she was gonna be taking like 2, 3 damage at least. And there's a summoning spot on the back where the slinger, like the council can take out the slinger too. So I guess her only chance right now is trying to sneak in some like units to hit Zeldia, but she's digging into the like.
Yeah.
I don't think any card right now gets you to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wonder about mods. Not sure if you are familiar with the Steam mods. Like, what do you need to be able to do mods for a game? Like, is that something that the developer of the game has to activate to allow it to happen, or is that something that just people are able to get into into the code somehow to make some changes? Like, are you familiar with that, or not sure if any of our viewers are familiar with that process?
I'm not entirely familiar, but I imagine it's something that wouldn't be too difficult, especially for Summoner Wars, which is not too much going on technically, and Joe's generally like open to that sort of thing. I'm not I yeah I haven't thought too much about Steam mods before. We'd have to see, and there's always the option of like playing like just like one-on-one with like Tabletop Simulator and just like inserting inserting different cards. I don't I don't personally see this Steam mods as like as being something that we could use to ultimately lead to balance. Like I feel like the push would need to be from playtesters and whatnot, but I think it'd be at the very least could be fun.
Yeah.
And imagine
Yeah,
Joe would be
my
up
guess
for
is
it.
that like the play testers would probably like totally jump into that. Like they really are into all that like adjustments and balancing, and so from that side, I think that wouldn't be the problem. I think it would just be a technical question, like if it's even possible or not there, because at least doing changes of simple things like health, attack values, magic costs, and all that, like technically, as you say, it sounds like it shouldn't be super complicated, but who knows if it's something that you can just do or if the developer has to
Yeah.
enable on their end.
I
So
see. And we have someone saying in chat for online games, it sounds like the developer would need to enable something. So I suppose
yeah,
that makes sense. But
yeah,
I imagine you're also with me that the only the only cards that you're really thinking about changing are master set cards. Like that for the most part after that, like there haven't been duds. On one, we can pause this turn. What is
look
with
at
just
that.
all of a sudden
Yeah,
the dice are just turned off? They just can't do
yeah,
anything. What is going
exactly.
on?
Okay, but here are the, I guess, the important ones. Yeah, but at this point, too many units on her side. So okay, two.
Just going off the rails here. I'm guessing the scholar goes for the slinger and just get it out of the way. Fu- funny, funny stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I would say indeed, like the only the one I would actually even want to be the one saying like, hey, let's change this. I would really want to rely on the testers. Like those guys are really
absolutely,
deep into all that stuff. They pretty much like test all those possible interactions, value and all that. And I think it would be viable to get a consensus from them, right? Like because they all have different opinions, right? But I think it could be possible to have some type of voting system in which like you have the potential versions of those things, and then you get them to just vote and see where's the consensus, like where's the it leans more into this or that for those cards. And at least for I think most of them, as you say, are from the master set, right? Like not a lot of the new stuff really needs adjustments. Um, yeah, probably maybe minor ones, but I think they would be the best ones to determine what needs to be adjusted or not. I wouldn't want to just leave it to just all the random players, because as you've seen in the conversations, like everyone has different opinions about those things, and they're very different. Ooh, she missed that 5 out of 5. That could have at least given her some
doing or something. Yes.
room to breathe. Yeah.
Yes, and just going for the econ choke out victory. Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough in my mind because like it's really only since it's only an issue of the master set, it's easy to kind of forget about it. And since like decks at this point, like the master set had much less playtesting power behind it, so especially like there's just a few champions that are like just not costed well, and and also like even within those decks, for the most part, like it's not an issue. Like you can't play Midi Mumway in Abushi. Oh, like oh well, who cares? It doesn't matter. And then there's some decks that are like I think the Vanguards are like the biggest deck where like it's more systemic and there's like even commons you'd probably want to change. But in that case, it's like
Hmm.
a much more complicated problem and like you honestly want to just like you'd want to like redesign some more fundamental things about the deck, and that's more than just like tweaking numbers. So I don't know, especially since it's only a couple cards. I think it's easy to just be like, oh, whatever. Like let's just focus on the new decks, and the Masters decks are still viable even if there's a card here and there
Hmm.
that you just always discard.
Yeah.
But
The,
I'm still absolutely with you in the like. If this is the thing that we can do at some point, I would love to see it. I'd love to see Jacob
mhm.
Eldman get some play. um,
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and it's not a big deal because you just always discard it, right? But it would be like much more fun if they were all potentially playable. So the games would be like more varied, like it would have more replayability.
yeah,
But even with the events, right? Like really, um, the events it affects it even more with the events than with the champions. But the big issue is when the common units are having some issues, which Vanguards is the example that everyone can agree with. And it's super for me. I find playing Vanguard super boring because pretty much it feels like it's a deck that only has two commons, right? Because the other two are so unusable. Like sometimes you can play them, like the Archer, I guess, on the opening hand. Sometimes you play it,
oh,
but many
and
other
shot
times,
for the win,
and she
and
gets.
3 for 3. Sorry to interrupt you. And there
Yeah,
it is.
that's it. Like
We've
some
gone
of it
off the
was
rails at the
toast
end
there.
here. Yeah, sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
he was toast there. Like they got him trapped there. So Sundervid really needed to get Ovi to at least even have a fighting chance. But now with the both attacks there, it was going to be tough.
Yeah. So we've ran out of time. I'd still love to have them on at least for a quick chat. Vexy, do you have more time? If you had to go, that would be absolutely fine. And I could
Yeah,
see if I
I
can
have
pick them up.
to I have to drop off. But yeah, if they're able
Yeah,
to jump in, you guys can have a quick chat
I,
maybe.
absolutely sounds good.
Okay, perfect. See you guys.
Um,
See you
okay,
everyone.
well, it
Bye.
was great. Thanks for commentating. I'll see you around.
See you around. Bye.
All right. And yes, just give me a second. We'll see if. And there's also some technical difficulties getting Discord to work. Uh, so yeah, just let me send some messages, and we'll see if I can get people in or not. Uh, and yeah, what we totally. I apologize for going off the rails with our commentary there, but just saying. Um, just thinking of whatever we can. Do. Okay. And do. Hello, hello.
Hello, that would be me. Let's see. I can't tell if Lena made it yet.
Oh, hello. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh,
Awesome.
awesome.
And
Is Vexer gone already?
Vexer unfortunately just left. But
I'm
we
so sorry. That is
no
my fault. I know it.
we were having a blast
But
commentating this, and
We're
yeah.
having a
I
blast
want you guys
too.
that I'm just a slow player. Yeah, I'm
No,
such a
it's
slow player.
No, that's absolutely. I mean, we're all about just just playing games and having fun. I am also, I struggle so much. I sort of sometimes just force myself to have a clock because I also just like to really take my time. But really quick, hopefully we'll only chat for a few minutes, so I don't take up more of your time. But I'd love to just have you guys introduce yourselves and how you got into the game. Fuzzy, I know, I know everyone knows you, but might as well have it all in one place. How did you first get into Summoner Wars, Fuzzy?
I'll answer quickly.
Yeah.
Waterdy and Space Biff. Both their reviews on Board Game Geek led me to second edition. And I'll keep my part short because I think Lena's the more interesting person to talk to right now.
Absolutely. And Lena, when and how did you first get into Summoner Wars? What first grabbed you about the game?
Yeah, I can answer quickly too, because obviously Massimo is my friend, Max, and yeah, he introduced me to the game like ages ago.
Yes.
So you started out playing in person and then moved to the app?
Yeah, sure. We played in person. He would always do this matchup cards and like a private tournament where we played all the factions playing against each other, and then he told me now this game and now that game.
So just the
Massimo
two of
always
you?
organizing everything. I see. Yeah.
Just the two of you,
yeah,
or
he
were there
was
other
playing
people too?
He was playing with other people too, but I was basically only playing with him and also my brother Stafti, Yuri, when we went on holidays. So in the Switzerland Alps during ski holidays.
That sounds idyllic. I'm just waiting for my kids to get old enough for that to be enjoyable. Or for the gaming part to happen.
Yeah. Well, one more question for you, Lena.
I've never been snowboarding since I'm having kids. So again, you don't have any hobbies anymore when you have kids.
Except for Summoner Wars. Woohoo.
Yeah, there's this how do you call it? That you have 3 days asynchron, asynchron. How do you say it?
Asynchronous. Yeah.
Asynchronous. Yeah. So that's easy, and I'm not playing a lot, to be honest.
Yes. I'm curious, real quick. Like, what about Summoner Wars versus like any other games that you played? Like, grabs you and has you and has you keep playing. Like, is there anything in particular that you enjoy or love about Summoner Wars?
I think I like the part that it's partly luck and also partly strategic, and it's one of the games which you can play with only 2 players. I think there's not a lot of good games for just 2 players.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, I'd love to talk about the game. Do you guys have 5 more minutes, or should we go ahead and wrap things up?
I'm good on time.
I'm good.
I can keep talking.
My kids are all in bed, and my granny still. I can check my granny now that you're saying it, because I don't have the baby phone. Usually, I have a baby phone.
Yes.
But she didn't scream so far, so yeah, or haven't screamed. My grammar is bad. Abbrechen.
Does she live with you, or is she visiting, or what?
No, she lives with me. I think she wants to
wow.
go to bed. She's now she's in her chair again, but yeah, that's still okay. I can check the camera. Yeah, she just turned 105 on Monday.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Sorry. No. So something I always love to ask is just like, what sort of strategy did you guys have, like, going into the game? Like, when you see this matchup, what are you thinking about? And then as the game progressed, how did that change? Like what surprised you about the game, or what fell into exactly what you would expect from this matchup?
And Long, do you want to start?
I think we were on our own call during the game, which was actually super fun for me. I've actually never done this before. I've only
Yes.
ever played this async, so just having someone kind of at this virtual tabletop and we're just like chewing over moves to each other, like that was a lot of fun. Like we were talking the entire time about her stealing Battle Leader. And at one point, she was thinking so hard that I knew she didn't have a gate. And I'm sure I let other things slip too. But we were just having a lot of fun discussing either strategy or pain with each other. I've never done that before while playing async against like these faceless league opponents. So
Yeah, and you have so much time to think if you want to take it. And now, for me, it's so difficult because I'm always try to do perfect turns, and
Yes.
yeah, my strategy is usually to put a lot of power to Idia, and yeah, then you can attack with high attack power. I don't know the English words.
Yes.
Yeah, but my strategy was to steal the nice events of the Mountain Vargath. They never came. So I kind of during the whole game I had learned in my hand from the start.
And I wasn't even discarding events because I was afraid of learn. I was discarding events because I was low on magic.
Yeah,
You know,
the magic.
we were both like slow playing because as soon as one of us would say to the other, "Oh, I like my cards so much, I'm not going to discard," then the other one would start playing like that too. So we were both playing this very low magic game. I think out of just like the bandwagon effect of being able to talk to each other live.
Yeah, that's so true. And but I tend to play low magic games. I'm always surprised how Max can get that much magic that he does. And yeah.
It was funny. We were talking at the very beginning about how does Max always get Tordin out? You know, like how does he save up those 8 magic? And then at various points in the game, I would just be like, you know what, Vexer's gonna hate me, but I'm just gonna make this move. And she'd be like, yeah, Massimo would yell at me for this, but I'm just gonna do it. So
yeah, I mean, it wasn't like, I don't know, what was it exciting for you? Because for yeah, the ones who were in the chat or whatever, because I thought, oh my god, we just like not really doing dynamic aggressive turns, but just I don't know.
I feel like there's even more tension because of that, because especially with this matchup, like we talked a lot about, like both factions can kind of just blow up in each other's faces if they get the chance, and so it just feels like we're on like a knife's edge for so long there. And I also yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, because I thought maybe it's boring for you, but yeah, I tend to save all the cards. I never want to discard common units. I love to play with common units, and I usually discard champions. And I always want to keep all the events too. So I'm really bad at discarding.
I think it's a viable play style. We saw how Aaron kind of plays like that last Scuffle.
Yeah,
and it's
Aaron's
a little bit
proponent.
counter to, I think, just because Watered is so influential and his advice is always, you know, dump your first hand, dump your second hand, build up huge magic, summon champs, that I think we all followed along in lockstep with that for a long time. And I know my tendency is the opposite. You know, I hang on to cards too long. But watching Aaron has always been interesting because he hangs on to cards forever and somehow makes it work. And he always has enough magic too, despite the low discards.
Yeah, that's good then. Yeah, I don't know. I just the champ, and I usually don't know the abilities of the champs very good. So I tend to stay with the commons. But I think this game I didn't discard any event, and I discarded like 2 commons.
Wow.
Wow. That's really fun. And so,
Yeah.
do both of you find that more of your games will? Oh, sorry. Oh, okay.
Sorry, what did you say?
Do both of you find that more of your games will end with like an economy victory, like you'll go to the very last units versus assassinating the enemy summoner, or is it still kind of a mix, or do you both do you both favor the longer play styles?
Yeah, I'm usually favor the longer play style. I tend to keep my economics in how what's the English word? In control.
Yes.
You know, it's funny. I think you know from talking on stream that I also favor the econ game as well. But in my personal game history with Lena, and I don't know why exactly, but I think my weakness has been rushing ahead and just doing something impulsive and dumb. Like, I have lost games to Lena via impatience, maybe more than any of the people I play with in general, and there's no real reason why. You know, maybe it's just the time zones. Maybe it's when I'm playing against someone from Germany, I stress out about like finishing the game at all. But that's definitely the weakness in our own game history.
I'm very patient often, I think. I don't know if I mean sometimes I win games because I don't attack the summoner and I don't attack the summoner and I don't attack the summoner, and then my opponent will just throw his summoner everywhere because it's convenient, and he's used to the habit that I don't attack it, but then it's too much in the middle and I can kill it. So
I think in your last series of League games 2 seasons ago, I was watching you play Swamp Orcs versus Wayfarers, and both of those games you were playing so patiently, like you were just letting your opponent, you know, try to be aggressive. I think both as Swamp Orcs and Wayfarers, it was just like, yep, I'm going to let you come to me, I'm going to let you swing for the fences, and I am going to just outlast you. Like that was
also
very...
the really aggressive player, right?
Yes.
I think he's always like running at you with everything.
But I just remember admiring those games because I don't know how many times I've lost because I start out patient and then in the middle of the game just kind of lose my mind. Like kind of just be like, I need to attack now. I don't care how. And I think playing live is a little bit different because there's not as much, I think, penalty for just playing the first move that comes to mind. Mm-hmm. You know, you're not sitting there like, oh, you know, like I might drop in League if I lose and that would suck. And this is high stakes and I'm sitting there by myself. This is more like, all right. I'm at kind of a virtual tabletop with a friend, you know, who I wouldn't even have ever gotten to know if not for Summoner Wars. And it's kind of okay to take the first turn that comes to mind.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you have to keep in time, which I obviously couldn't. So you had a disadvantage because you were really fast, and I think I took a lot more time. But for me, the League, for me, it's basically the same when I play with family or friends or also League. I'm not afraid to drop down in League or something, or like totally happy if I go up. It's more like I want to win every game I play.
Yes. I think that's kind of why I wanted to pair us against each other too. It's just like I think less stress about losing and less to prove.
I mean, yeah, I'm always happy for someone else if my husband or my kids are winning or whatever, or my friends. I'm happy for them, but I'm always, even if I play with the kids, I always want to win. It's just like in my DNA. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. No, but I mean, I love League for that. Like, I think, I think it brought something back for me playing League competitively because, I used to play competitive sports a long time ago. And I kind of wrote off those days as like way past. And it's just nice to be in a place where I can be competitive again. I didn't expect that from Summoner Wars. I think I was just expecting something along the lines of like, Plants vs. Zombies. Like, here's just this silly distraction on my, here's this time killer on my phone. But instead, it's fun to just be able to be competitive.
Yeah, and I mean, it's still board gaming, even if it's on the phone.
Exactly. And I think over time, it's been more and more, okay, I'm board gaming with real people.
Yeah.
Like I'm board gaming with people that I do see as like virtual friends, but still friends, rather than just kind of. I don't think I would have stayed in Summoner Wars long if I were just playing ranked play on the app against like these kind of faceless anonymous opponents.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I think I would.
Yeah.
I would have gone back to Plants vs. Zombies or something like that. If the people were actually just an AI to me.
Yeah, and you can play it with your I'm saying real friends. like my brother or Max, we don't live close to each other, so it's a good opportunity to play with them and not be close to each other.
Yep. I think there's a couple people also on the Discord that are like that. Like I think we got Bazo Formidable and Punk Beam on the Summoner Scuffle just because I was so fascinated by, these brothers that just play Summoner Wars constantly, like even while living in different cities and having different lives.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you have kids. I mean, I don't know the age average in the community, but for us, I think we are like around the same age.
Yep. Vexer too. Vexer and I have kids the same age, which are the same age as yours, except you have an extra one in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. And you're so busy with your family. I mean, how often do you do game nights with friends? Maybe once a month, or maybe once in 2 or 3 months. Yeah. And
it's funny. I have another mom friend that I really want to introduce Summoner Wars to. And I could have played with her all along. Like, I could have skipped this whole Discord thing, I think, and just tried to introduce this game to another mom friend. But we were both so exhausted, from parenting.
Exactly.
So it was just always easier to reach for my phone. But now I'm like, fine, if, regardless of whether my husband ever takes interest, I'm going to get this other friend to play, I think. Hopefully.
Yeah, we do game nights with friends, but it's really I mean, there's so much stuff when you have a family. There's swimming. How do you say when there's people in one club, like a club, right? Swimming club. Then Alps, boulder, and I can't remember the English words when you. Whatever. There's a lot of clubs you have.
Do you do rock? Do you do rock climbing?
Rock climbing. Thanks.
Oh my gosh! Do you do that, or your kids do that?
Yeah, we started with the kids. We're doing it a long time now, my husband and me. But the kids are doing it now too, and they go to like a competition.
Oh wow!
I think in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! We do climbing too. Like, my husband and I did it a lot more before we had kids.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're not good. We're not good or anything, but we used to at least know how to set up a top rope outdoors. And we haven't done that since kids. And I finally gave away our climbing ropes and helmets because we're never. But you know what? We go to a bouldering gym. There's a bouldering gym literally a half mile from us, and we've been bringing the kids, and it's been a lot of fun. It's hard sometimes to do these sports that you'll never be as good at as you used to be. But it's been a lot of fun to do it with kids. And it's fun. That's actually cool. It's funny. I was actually telling Shampoo this is I feel like Climbing Brain and Summoner Wars Brain are very, very similar. Like it's a very similar, it's a similar puzzle solving satisfaction.
It's similar people too. It's the nerdy stuff.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is so funny because I've met other Ultimate Frisbee players on Discord. I know Ben and Aaron play Ultimate, but you're the first climbing person that I've encountered. Yeah, I think they're all so similar.
We like basically all the outdoor sports. So.
But yeah, climbing has a special place in my heart for just the puzzle solving.
Yeah, we have a great space here close to where we live where you can do rock climbing at a rock. Yeah.
Oh wow. So like sport climbing or bouldering or top rope?
Yeah, we have that too. We putting top ropes on the on the what is there another word than rock? Like a big rock? I don't know.
But do you put the ropes in yourself? Like, are there bolted anchors?
Like a rock wall, like a really big rock wall in the hills.
Oh my gosh, we need to come visit.
Yeah, really nice landscape here, and the kids love it. It's like in the middle of a forest. Okay,
oh my gosh, take a picture for me sometime. Take a picture next time you're there. I want to picture this.
I can send you pics. We get away from the Summoner Wars thing.
That's us too. It's such it's such this push-pull. Like we played a lot over the holidays while everyone was sick because we had nothing better to do. But then when we have a weekend free, we're the same way. Like we'd rather take the kids outside. We'd rather do something outdoors than sit around like a game cafe. But at the same time, my son loves board games. He's hilarious.
Yeah, we started a new game with the kids, which they love. It's called Karak.
Karak. Yeah, you mentioned that, I think.
Yeah.
We
have the second version now, and they love it even more.
It's funny. My art with us, it's that my daughter is, she likes gaming. So she's 8 and my son is 4 and he's insane. Like he'll game he'll play board games day in, day out and beg for like outfoxed over and over. So we're trying to find, I think, the balance between, catering to the older kid and the younger kid at the same time.
Yeah, but always a stretch.
I'm hoping to find the right combinations of people and games. Because, like, the mom friend who I think would like Summoner Wars also has a son that I'm hoping we can, like, have 4 people for Familiar Tales that other Plaid Hat games game. Like, I hope...
Oh, yeah.
I hope we can... I mean, it would be so nice to... excuse me, to actually have, like, a party for, like, a campaign-type game. But the problem is, even though my son would love to play it, like, it would all revolve around him. Like, everything would revolve around, like, he wants to do this, that's against the rules, he wants to roll the dice, he wants a do-over. So I'd kind of like, something for my daughter that doesn't revolve around catering to him when we're playing games, which is,
That's the same here. My oldest son is 7. Yeah, he's gonna be 8 soon, and the youngest is 4, and it's exactly the same. He wants to re-roll, and then he's telling me, no, the dice were just falling out of his hand. That's why he can throw them again. And then if somebody wants to do something against him on the board, then no, that's not possible. So they are with 4 years old. They making their own rules.
I think when we were playing Mountain Vargath, or we were like trying Mountain Vargath for the first time, like I think it was someone summoned Toradin, the big dinosaur guy that can walk through walls. And like the first, I think Vexer showed us a game where he summoned Toradin and he walked through a wall and just attacked and killed Retalis. And as soon as I saw that, I was just like, this is something my son would do. Like if he wants the dino to walk through walls, that dino is walking through walls. Whether any adult tells him, that walking through walls is allowed, that's what's going to happen.
We won't let Ben say anything.
No, I'm just listening and agree. I've so often, like when talking with people about board games, that we end up talking about rock climbing or ultimate frisbee or something. I'm just sitting here nodding along.
No, I mean, I think just both the podcast and I think your streaming, Ben, have kind of just changed how the community feels to me. It's a little, it's just that, like I said, about like not sustaining interest in a game unless I kind of get to know the people that I'm playing with. It is still a social activity for me. So just, being able to chat with people in the community has definitely made a difference. And I wouldn't have imagined it. I wouldn't have imagined the difference even just voice chat makes. I just
Yes.
pictured Twitch as like just this thing that kids do that is just beyond, beyond my ancient brain's ability to grasp. But I think we're
Yes.
small enough that, this is just fun. This is just a lot of parents with kids the same age as ours. It's very relatable because it's so many dads rather than like 20-year-olds.
Yes. I feel like the secret behind trying to do these streams and whatnot is I want more people to play live games. I think the live games are a ton of fun. Just exactly what you guys just did is what I'm usually doing on my stream, is just having someone on and just like trying to get them to screw up or just having fun while we play. And so much of, I don't know, personally, I'm really prone to overthinking, and I also just like get really stressed out when I start caring about like the outcome of a game. I'll be too competitive and overthinking, so like I'm trying to like keep myself focused on live games just so I'm like having a healthy relationship with Summoner Wars and getting other people to play them as well. So I'm glad you guys had fun.
It's funny, I've played with people who like to play, who are chatty over DM while playing asynchronously. It's not the same at all as just being on a voice call and actually staring at the same board in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not one of those people that kind of sends messages back and forth during turns. I'm like too focused on, not showing what I'm going to do next. But it's just so different over voice.
Yeah,
But
I got the idea because I wanted to do a tryout game with Max, and I hadn't any time today. So like half an hour before I started the game with Max and had him on the phone during the game. And then I thought, oh, that's nice. We should do this on the phone. But I wanted to ask Ben, when you're saying you're doing a lot of live games, do you mean commentating and others are playing, or do you also do live games like regularly to have fun or just to play?
Yeah, so both, but more of the second. So more of like, so I have streams like this that are like scheduled, and I send out a thing on the Discord and commentating other people, but I also do a lot of just playing with people in chat, or there's just lots of people that'll just come by the stream and want to play, and it'll just be us two fighting. So that's my favorite thing. That's my favorite way to play Summoner Wars, is just on a call with someone and just goofing around.
So, but how do
No,
you?
go on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go on.
how do you met the people you play live with, and you talk to them during your playing? So like we just did. Um, uh, what do you mean if you're saying they come to your stream? I'm so sorry. I'm so stupid with all the
No, yeah,
computer and
it's like random, and it's grown. Like as it started, I would like a lot of these people are also on the Discord. But the way Twitch works is people can, if you go to this, if the website twitch.tv, you can just watch the stream. And for a while I started live streaming Summoner Wars because I was just having fun playing it. I was just playing asynchronous games, so I would queue like 10 asynchronous games at a time because I had like nothing to do over the summer because I'm 22, and I would just play those on the stream. And then more and more people are tuning in, and now some of those people that would tune in and watch me play it now will also play against me. And now that's most of my stream. So people that have found the stream on Twitch, I'll play against them, or friends that I have in Discord, and also some friends that I will play Summoner Wars in real life. I'll also sometimes do on stream, but a bunch of different online relationships for that.
okay. I really have to learn how social media works. I don't really get it. So someone watches your stream and then tells you, okay, I want to do a live game too, and then you playing.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Oh wow, we're so old.
I feel the exact same way. I mean, it's funny. I don't know whether it's a good or a bad thing that, like, Twitch didn't exist when I was your age. Like, I've talked to you, Ben, a little bit about being in, you being in middle school and, socializing online. And I don't know. As a parent, I'm like, but go out, run around, have fun, play in the sunshine.
Basically, nothing of this whole social media thing existed when we were your age, Ben.
Yes, it's a different time. It's what I mean. I grew up watching people on YouTube play Minecraft. Those were my role models. So that's just how it goes.
Lena, do you run into that as a parent? Like, do you run into like your sons or or their friends just kind of having this online existence?
No, not at all. I think they're too young. I don't know. You told me that it's a little bit different in the US. But here in the, what's this, boarding school? Yes? Yeah, in boarding school, no one has a phone.
Is it boarding? Boarding school is when the kid lives at the school away from their parents.
Oh, no, then that's the wrong word. I mean,
That's what I figured.
The first 4 years of school, how do you call that?
I guess just primary school or elementary school.
So primary school, they don't have phones. They don't use the internet on their own.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like that with us too. Like most kids my daughter's age, don't have a phone. But some of her friends, like the parents are getting them smartwatches just so that, like, think about it. There's no such thing as a landline anymore for a lot of people. So when I was 8,
Yeah.
So when we were 8, like we could still call our friends on the landline. And, presumably if we, call a neighbor and come over or something. But
my
they
son
don't have any of that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's calling his friends to ask them if they want to come over or whatever. But I don't think he can go. He can't use the internet, I think, with the watch.
No,
least
that's why a lot of parents I know get the smartwatches, is because I think we're aware that we don't really want to just turn our kids loose on the internet this young. But I mean, I have another friend whose 12-year-old daughter wanted a smartphone, and he sat her down and they watched the documentary The Social Dilemma together. And he was just like, this is why you're not getting a smartphone. I'm sorry, but this is why these companies that want to keep you online don't have your best interests in mind. And I always thought that was smart.
Yeah.
But, so it's push-pull for me. On the one hand, I have all these international friends through the Summoner Wars Discord that I would never have met otherwise. On the other hand, I don't really want my kids doing this. I don't, I want it, I want the positives, but not the negatives. And I think the negatives can be pretty bad when kids get so much screen time and have virtual friends, but no real friends.
Yeah, totally. And they, it's dangerous to, what do you say, when you're addicted? Yeah, you can get addicted really easy. But Max is complaining that we're doing education advising thing here. So I'm sorry, I can't say
Max
too
can
much
deal
about,
with it.
about games of others or something of Summoner Wars, because I even you telling me this league game or that, I never ever watch any games of anybody, basically.
I think that's why, without knowing it, you're kind of in a league of your own for being able to play that well. And, even making it to Division 1 last season without doing all the crazy things that the rest of us do, which is just kind of obsessively watch games and talk strategies with each other or just play way too many games. I mean, the only other person I know who was like that was Donkey, and he was at the very top of Summoner Wars for a while.
Yeah.
I think everyone else who has competitive results like yours obsesses over the game way more than you do, which is part of the reason we wanted to bring you on. Is just, it's fascinating. Like, how do you do it?
Possibly I'm clever. I don't want to say that. I don't know. It's just I like it, and I think one part is what you said, that I take my time to think about the turns. So I guess if you're just playing a little more and thinking a bit less, then you probably make more mistakes.
It's funny. One of the guys we had on, like, I think 1 or 2 scuffles ago, he was playing on the scuffle, and then when his opponent was taking a slow turn, he would just take another ranked play turn in like another game. And we're just like, how do you do that? Yeah. But I think everyone has their own way of not taking the game too seriously. Like Ben's way is to just play live. Like, I'm just gonna do this live and not have like this overnight turn to like think about what my opponent's gonna do next.
Totally. I should do that more. I try to use, how do you call it, Twitch?
Yes.
Twitch, and find Ben and his stream and then play live against him.
I would love it. I would love to have you. That'd be a ton of fun.
And I'm gonna hurry in my turns. But first I have to figure out how to use Twitch and find your stream and ask you something. But I'm gonna find out how it works.
What? That's the nice thing about being Ben's opponent, is you don't have to know anything about Twitch. Like, you just have to be on Discord and be like, hey, Ben, want to play a game? And, that's been the magic for me, is just like, I don't need to think. I don't need to worry about audio levels. I don't need to do anything other than play a game and know that Ben is talking to himself in the background. Maybe talking to people, who knows? But if there's no one in chat, he's talking to himself, and that's okay.
Yeah, but I want to see the chat and I want to know how it works. I mean, we have to learn it, because our kids will do it soon. So,
oh, it's so terrible. I hope not. Is it terrible that I'm saying that? Like, I'm on, I'm this Twitch personality, and I'm like, man, I hope my kids don't get on Twitch anytime soon. Like, what does that say about me as a parent?
We are doing a lot of stuff which the kids can, so we're eating sweets
This is
a lot.
Well, I mean, all these things, in all seriousness, I want the healthy part, not the unhealthy part. Like I was, we were talking about to Shiobata, the last Scuffle, and he was talking about how when he was a 12-year-old on the first edition for Summoner Wars forums, and I remember asking, so what's it like being a 12-year-old hanging out with adults and pretending to be an adult? And he was like, well, the community was really nice and respectful, so I got a lot of good things out of it.
So how old is he now?
In his early 20s.
Okay.
So kind of, he's in a good place. I think he was working kind of that first job out after you graduate, like the sort of the day job while you're figuring out what you're doing. And he just started a job, which sounds like it's kind of the real job. This is my adult life job. So he sounds pretty happy with what he's doing.
So we are talking about Jabata Bang Boom Boom, right?
Yes, he's another young one. He's, I think, out of college somewhere like a year, like sort of, I don't know, a couple years, maybe 2 years out of college, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was 12 when he was playing Summoner Wars First Edition, and he just said he had, it was a good experience for him to just hang out with adults that were cool.
I didn't even know that it's already so long ago that you can play it online.
I tried the first edition online, and it just, I don't know, it was weird. I didn't like it quite enough to like buy the physical game and play with my husband. I think there was an app, and there was an app and there were forums. But second edition, I was just kind of finally like, you know what? The AI is probably going to be as stupid as the AI was in first edition, so I just need to play against real people if I want to get a sense of what this game is like.
Yeah. But Max was telling me that there's the app coming out soon.
Yeah. So I actually have the app. I'll be honest, I am old, and the screen on my phone with the app is just slightly too small for me. Like, I need reading glasses to play on the app. But what I love is that I have the app on my phone, and it gives me notifications when it's my turn, and then I'll just go and play in the browser like usual. But the app looks good. Like, the app looks good. I didn't know
that you can already get it. I thought it's gonna be a few days.
It's for the beta testers were able to get it sooner. So at some point Joe posted, hey, who wants to beta test the app? And I know, Ben, you play on it, right?
I do as well.
So there have been people in the community that have been playing on it for at least a month or two. And I convinced Joe to start the Discord channels to report bugs and things. So now Joe is on the Discord.
Who's Joe?
Joe is the lead developer, or the only developer at Plaid Hat Games.
Oh, okay.
So he's like the one-man band doing everything. And, I'm just impressed that they put out such a great game on relatively few resources.
Yeah.
And having just one programmer that's not even like dedicated to Summoner Wars, and we have the website, we have the app coming out, it's impressive.
I'm checking on my granny. I totally forgot her.
Yes.
I think somebody.
Well.
Oh my goodness.
We should probably call it a quits. It's been a while.
My dad brought her to bed.
Oh, okay.
Sorry for that.
She hates it. She always she doesn't want to undress in front of somebody who's not a woman.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking myself. Otherwise, we could have just taken a break.
That's okay. I just forgot it. So I had one alarm set, but I ignored it because we're still talking, and I checked on my video, so she was still okay. Yeah, whatever. No, she's
Yeah.
bad, but
It's like
Yes.
parenting. There's so much that you just have to like live with, not getting things perfect. Oh, but no, great. Like, I'm so glad the two of you got to meet. Like, I would love to see you guys playing on stream sometime.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm sorry Vexer had to leave early. I'm sure he would have loved to chat as well.
Yeah, we'll catch up with Vexer another time.
Yes. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. And thanks for staying late to chat. I'm so happy that we got to. Gotta have the best of both worlds. Anything else you guys want to say before we call it here?
yeah, thank you for organizing.
Absolutely. And thank you for stepping out of your comfort zone. We talked about that. And, it
I didn't
means a lot.
I didn't manage too well.
No, this is great.
This was wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, it showcases a different side of the community. Like, it honestly showcases just a different way to play that's not like play around the clock and obsess over the game.
Yeah, that's true.
No,
Yeah,
and it's been fun too.
all...
No, go on.
No, yeah, and I mean, it's my favorite part is the discussion and just getting to meet people in the community. So it's been a blast.
Yeah, we made the discussion a little bit about the kids. That's a parent thing. It happens all the time.
If you go and listen to our other scuffles, they're very often sidetracked as well. We very often end up talking about something else as well. It's a trend here. We just talk about whatever.
We're the opposite of the podcast. We're the opposite of being organized.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. Hopefully I get to chat with both of you guys soon.
All right. Thanks, Ben.
I'll find you in your stream, whatever that is.
Yes. I'll send you a link.
We'll post it to the chat. Post it to the chat when we get off.
Please.
Okay. Goodbye.
All right. Bye.
Yeah. Goodbye, guys.
Bye.